Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm on 5 minutes early, so let's see. Whoever the first one is, they can do is a sound check, make sure that everything works okay. So, as I say, 2:55, another 5 minutes, and then people should start coming on to the live chat or live stream. So, I've got my coffee. Mike Jones, good morning. You're the first one. Can you hear me? Everything is good. The sound okay, and the quality of the sound okay, and the volume's okay. Huggy Bear, all good. Everything good, mate. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Because I've tried the microphone and I've got a new webcam now with a microphone in it. So I'm just testing that because the microphone on the laptop wasn't very good. So swings and roundabouts. I don't do live stream very often. So rather than buying all the equipment that goes with it, I'll make do with what I've got. Thanks very much. Good morning from Norway. Oh, yes, Norway. Oh, it'll be warming up now because it's like your summer. So today in here, this is how hot it is. 32.2. I brought this out because people want to know what the temperature is. So I bought this, and it's like 2 degrees hotter outside, sat in the shade underneath the roof of the house than it is inside the house. So 32.2 today. So, okay, two thumbs up already. 14 people in the house. Well done. As I say, we're still a little bit early, 2 minutes before we should start, but why not make a start right now? So, okay, like I said before, in the other times I've done this, I've got a few questions that people have given me beforehand, so it's not a flat start. And then I'm going to ask questions on the live stream. Now, for those people who want to ask a question, if you put Q, a big Q, at the beginning of your message, and then I can say that it's a question because people are commenting all the time on this on the side chat here. So first of all, I'll go through one of the questions that I got from the video that I put up before. Put my glasses on. Old age, eyesight's going. Okay, so um, the first question to ask is buying a car or a motorbike in Thailand. How easy is it? Can it be done? And the requirements needed, insurance, driver's license, etc., etc. Now, buying a car is easy. Buying a second-hand car, um, it's just as easy. There's a thing called a rent to buy. If you don't want it, well, you can't get as a foreigner, you can't get finance to buy a car. But if you've got a Thai girlfriend or a Thai wife, she can get the finance for the car for you. And I would say if you've got that method of being able to do it. Buy a brand new car because then you know the history of it. Because over here in Thailand, they do what's called cut and shunt, where the front of one car and the back of another car, same model, and they weld it together to make a new one if the front end or the back end's been damaged on the previous car. Whereas England, there's paperwork and things like that with regard to if it's been in an accident, how many accidents, and how serious the accident was. Over here in Thailand, I've never heard of that or records to be able to check on it. So, yeah, buy a car. I would suggest if you can afford it, buy a new car. But if you can't buy a new car, go through the history of the car, make sure that one person's had it, or you can trust the person that you're going to be buying it from. Driver's license, you can drive around here with an international driver's license. You can get a license over here. It takes the best part of a day or 2 days to be able to get a license over here. But again, there are agencies that will fast forward the program to be able to get a license, and it is possible, and it's not difficult. It's just time consuming, and again, you'd be better off having a Thai partner to go help translate because in the Department of Transport, there's not many people speak English, but it can be done. Now, your first driver's license in Thailand lasts for 2 years, and then after 2 years, you renew it, and then it's renewable every 5 years on top of that. So it's not difficult, it's just time consuming. I've got my motorbike license and my car license, and I did them myself. I went to the test centre. I didn't have any Thai translator, so If I can do it, I'm sure anybody else can do it. But it is possible. So yes, buying a car. I bought my first car here in Thailand from a foreigner guy who had a rental car business in Pattaya, and he did a system called rent to buy, where I rented it off him for 3 years, and the final payment, the car became mine. Now you can do that also with motorbikes. There was a motorbike garage in Banpei, where I live in Rayong. An American guy that I know has just got a brand spanking new motorbike, 10,000 baht down and 380 baht for 18 months on a rent to buy scheme. That's from a garage. And at the end of 18 months, the bike is his. So even dealerships can offer it. It's shopping around. Some people will do it and some people don't. But sort of Thailand, anything is possible if you do enough homework and ask enough people. So that's buying the car. But I'm going to answer another quick question on this one, because there was another guy asking me about buying a second-hand truck and the blue book to see if it's on credit and things like that. Now, buying a second-hand truck in Thailand, trucks don't have an easy life. You'll see many trucks overloaded, go fast, big black belching smoke out of it and things like that. Trucks over here don't get an easy life. So if you're buying it from a foreigner, it's probably you're better off buying it from a foreigner, because usually foreigners will look after the trucks. But if you're buying it from a Thai, it may have had a hard life before you get it. So you never know its history. And with reference with the blue book shows that registration of the truck. And usually, if there's a blue book, that means that there's no credit or finance on it. Because if anybody wants to borrow money from a truck or a car, the blue book is given in as guarantee. But saying that, I know somebody who lent money on a motorbike in Samlaw without the green book for a motorbike, and they borrowed money off a money lender, and it was somebody else's bike. So again, do your checks. Check and check and check again. And if it looks dodgy, walk away from it. All trucks. Oh yeah, with regard to repairing vehicles over here, if you buy a vehicle over here, the Isuzu, Fords, things like that, spare parts are very affordable. Labour costs over here to fix anything is very cheap. It's not expensive at all. So don't worry about getting anything fixed over here. If you buy it from over here, it's made over here, and you'll be able to get it fixed, no problem whatsoever. So yeah, that's the that's the first question out the road with regard to buying a truck and licensing and things like that. So I'll go on to any questions on here. And what I'll do, I'll go a question on the live stream, and then a question on the paperwork, what people have already sent. Great and damp and south. Yeah. Mike Jones. Yeah, I looked at the weather forecast this morning and on the Sky News. Isn't it crazy? Yeah, there's a heat wave in Europe, and just over the road in good old UK, it's freezing cold, damp, raining, crazy. Yeah, Billy Bob, all good, Les. Even the traffic noise is coming through nice and clear. Yeah, I mean, there's a main road just out the front here. People think that I live sort of quite remote, but it's quite a busy village, really. Yeah, and we have motorbikes and cars and trucks going by. So, but it's still nice and quiet. You just get used to it. Hi, Les. It's better than living in the northeast, or do you miss it? No. You might have seen me when I went back to the UK for 9 weeks. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. But sadly, my stepdad died, so I went back for the funeral, and then it was my sister's birthday, and we were very close to Christmas and New Year. And as my sister had trouble coming over here, deep vein thrombosis, I said to my sister, I'll do the 3, your birthday, Christmas and New Year. So I stayed for 9 weeks, and it was cold. I never felt warm, and the prices. So do I miss the UK? Absolutely, 100% not. Temperature here today, look at that, 33.2 now. So we're going up. So better than cold and damp. We've got a bit of an overcast sky, and it might rain a little bit later on. But if it rains, that's going to cool the air down. So it's lovely. Just been home to the UK and needed my ear syringe. Was told by my doctor it would be September before he could do absolutely disgusting. Came back to Pattaya, went to the clinic, got them done the same. Yeah, I've done that. As I say, it's like getting a prescription medication. Back in England, I had an ear infection, and the doctor said, "Oh, it'll take a week before I can send you the results of what your ear infection was." And at the time, I was going to Japan, China, on my way back to Thailand. Japan, quick story out of a long story. Japan, £150 to go and see a doctor, forget about that. China, £100 to go and see a doctor, forget about that. Before they would give me the medication, because apparently it was a really, really bad ear infection. I got to Thailand, walked into the first pharmacy, said, "This is my prescription, this is what I need, how many tablets do you want?" Compared to Japan and China. Thailand is fantastic. You can almost get any medication whatsoever. A couple of subscribers have asked me to see if they could get a particular medication before they came over here. And with some of the stronger medication, you have to go and see a Thai doctor before they grant you the medication. And then once you've got the prescription off the doctor, you can order it at the local pharmacy. So no problems whatsoever. How's the diet going? Looking good? Yeah, back on the keto diet. I've lost 8 kilos in a month. A little bit of an interruption because we did the assisted living down in Hua Hin, so the street food is lovely. And then it was my birthday, so yeah, I'm back on it now. And black coffee with cream sometimes. I've run out of cream today. 1 meal a day. And my aim is to go down to maybe 95, or even if I can get down to 90. But even 8 kilos is a lot of weight. I mean, originally when I went on the keto diet to start off with, I was 118 kilos, and I've done a few keto videos with regard to that. 118 kilos, wow. I look at myself in the pictures and think, how did I ever let me get? However, did I get myself into that position? 118 kilos. So now I'm 101 and still going down. And the keto diet for me is probably one of the easiest diets I've ever been on. And because I love my food, I yo-yo diet all the time. And many people say to me, eat the proper food, do exercise and things like that. I don't do any exercise. I've never liked exercise. I like my food. I like my sticky cakes. I like my sweet stuff. So that's just the way it is. My life is yo-yo dieting all the time, and I'll put up with that because I can do it. In the keto diet, I go on it for a month or 2 months, and the good thing about the keto diet in Thailand is there is like foreigner food, because I eat the steaks, I eat the beef burgers, I can do Thai food if I want, keto, green curries and things like that. But with the keto, you're sort of eating foreigner food. So it's different to the Thai food. So it's having like a whole different way of eating. And my wife loves it as well because she doesn't have to cook for me then. So yeah, it's easy enough to do. How's the diet? Yeah, looking good. Thank you very much. Hello everyone. Hi Les, love your videos and your honest advice. Thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you very much for watching, Fat Boy Slim. Yeah, I'm always honest. I don't lie, because if you don't lie, you only have to tell one story, and it's the same story no matter where you go. I always give honest opinions. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't comment on various things like girlfriend relationships and things like that, because that's a private issue. But for other things, with regard to internet dating and things like that, I tell it how it is. I've got an interesting story a little bit later on about that, because I've had an interesting question, and it's about the internet dating. How many people, they're sick of looking at the bar girls and the internet girls. They want an educated girl with a degree or a good job and things like that. Now, I've got an interesting story I'll tell a little bit later on about that, but it is worth watching that one, because I don't know many very wealthy people, but this wealthy person that I was introduced to gave me a very, very interesting story about such girls, such as girls that had high powered jobs or high profile living. And yeah, it's an interesting story, but I've already done a video about it anyway. But again, I'll do it again because it's a very interesting story. And it's nice to hear the other side of it, what people think with money. And yeah, I'm the average working guy with average working experiences and things like that. I'm not a clever guy, but I think outside of the box sometimes. I'm a problem solver, and I solve as many problems as I can. And living here in Thailand, yeah, it's had its fair run of problems, but there's nothing that's insurmountable over here. But thank you very much for saying that I'm honest, and I am. I am. Thank you very much. How about the hydroponic you start? Yeah, hydroponic that that collapsed and failed. And what happened with that? I bought a big sort of greenhouse, and I set all the hydroponics up in the greenhouse. I was a it was sort of it was a plastic coated. And for the first year, it went brilliant. I had the pump set up, the water running around, so it worked great. And because of how strong the sunlight is here, the plastic covering disintegrated. So when it came to rainy season, the water came through, overflowed the system with regard to water, washed away the nutrients that you put in the water, and it just sort of flooded everything. So I was a little bit discouraged because the plastic coating over it only lasted a year. And then if you get a net house, which is always going to let the water in anyway. So it was a lot of work for not a lot of return. I just did tomatoes, and tomatoes over here, you can just stick them in the ground and they'll grow. You didn't have to protect them from bugs and things like that. So it was something that interested me. It was at a time that I thought, okay, I'll do this and that and the other. But it didn't work out for me, only because the plastic covering deteriorated with the sunlight. So how we can get over that, I don't know. So yeah, my hydroponics was a bit of a failure really, but it was something that I enjoyed doing and setting up the pumps, and because it gave me something to do. And that's the thing, we're living in Thailand, you've got to have something to do. Yeah, Farang Travels. You look like a different man from when you were back in the UK, 10 years younger. And I feel 10 years younger. Out of the 9 weeks I was in the UK, I was sick for nearly 3 weeks of the 9 weeks I was over there. I was always cold. And people say, and I do, I feel much better when I'm over here. Blue skies, apart from today, it's great. It's just like a typical English day today over here, grey skies. But when you haven't seen grey skies for a long time, you don't mind it occasionally, because in between the greyness there's blue skies. And I've got to say, blue skies do make everybody feel much better, make you feel healthier. It's just a nice feeling, and being warm as well, that's also good. Last afternoon, Les from the Cave Beach restaurant, Jump DM. Afternoon, Jump DM. I lived in Jump DM for 2 years, and anybody that's coming into Thailand and want to sort of live a little bit of a chaotic life in Pattaya, go and live in Jump DM, because it's far enough out of the madness, out of the metropolis, and then because Jump DM is a very nice place to live as well. Okay, right, going on to another question now. Okay, somebody had a question with regard to using TransferWise. Now, I use TransferWise to send my pension money from a bank in the UK over to Thailand, and my bank in Thailand is the Bangkok Bank, and I use Wise, and that shows an international transfer. Foreign transfer is what the immigration want to see. Now, there's a couple of people said they can't find why it doesn't do it. Now, if you click on it asks you for a reason why you want the funds to be sent to Thailand. Now, if you scroll all the way down, right at the bottom, the last one, I can't remember the exact wording for it, but I'm not transferring any more money over, so I can't actually give you the correct wording for it. But it's something like to maintain funds for a long-term stay in Thailand. And if you click onto that, then between Wise and Bangkok Bank, because there was some controversy over this a number of years ago, and Wise and Bangkok Bank and Kasikorn Bank came up with this saying about long-term stay in Thailand to maintain the long-term stay. So if you click onto that, then that shows that it's a financial transfer from abroad, and that suits the immigration department because they can see it was an international transfer. Now I'm going for my marriage visa this year, and I've just got my 12 months statements from the bank, and every time I've transferred it shows up that financial transfer from overseas. So that's it with Wise. And the reason for why you need the money transfer, and scroll right down to the bottom, and it's the very last one, to maintain the funds for living in Thailand, or words similar to that. So that's the question from Wise. So I hope that one helps, and for those people that are struggling and it doesn't show that was a financial transfer, doing that, it works. All right, Mike Stewart, I'm thinking of moving over, not old enough to retire or live the dream. Not easy, I know, but need to find work in Thailand. Not as a bar manager, I have a degree. Yeah. Now that's a difficult one to answer. Finding a job over here. I'm in the process sort of doing another video of because I'm like a monkey see, monkey do, and I want to show people I've got a pension, I can live on my pension, but also there's something to do. My YouTube pays me about $100 a month. Some people think I'm making a lot of money on YouTube. I make about $100 a month, that's it. I'm looking at working online, I'm looking at doing other things. For instance, I've got a shop on Etsy. So it's your lifestore.etsy.com. Have a look on that. Now I'm doing cards on there for firefighters, retirement cards and things like that. That's another little project that I'm doing, because I want to show people that if you do want to come to live in Thailand and you do want to do something online, what you can do and what you can't do, and if it works and if it doesn't work. I also had a website with regard to the keto diet I was on, linked with some of the products. So it's difficult. It is so difficult. These gurus say, yeah, you can earn a six-figure sum on YouTube. Just sign up to my program and I'll show you how it works. And basically, they show you the golden goose. They show you this is the golden goose that's going to make you a lot of money, but you need to spend $200, $300, $400, and I'll tell you how it's done. Now, I've paid on several programs that I've been on, but I've only paid on the sites that offer you your money back. Even the sites that offer you your money back is a bit of a scam, but that's in another video. So I've tried with all of these things. And with a degree, probably the only thing that you can get as far as working in Thailand is teaching. Now, teaching's 30,000 baht per month. Not really enough money to live on over here. 30,000 baht a month. You'd be struggling. And also you'd be working for 6 days a week. So the idea of coming over to Thailand and relaxing is not working to live, or living to work, because that's what you'd end up doing if you do that. Sorry, it's probably not the answer that you want. Everybody dreams of sitting on the beach and doing as little as possible, but even to live here, it's a cheap country. You still need some form of income or pension to live on. After knowledge from the curiosity. Yeah, I'm looking very well, healthy and happy. Always healthy and always happy. Can you talk about people who can't seem to live in Thailand? Les, can you talk about people who can't seem to live in Thailand? Okay. Can't live in Thailand. Right, okay. Thailand isn't for everybody. It's hot, it's humid, it's sticky, it's uncomfortable. Some people don't like snakes, some people don't like bugs, some people don't like flies. Occasionally around here you'll see me, the little black bugs, little black flies, they're just, because it's rainy season, they're everywhere. And some people can't put up with that. Some people can't put up with the food. In fact, there's maybe it's 4 guys that I know don't eat Thai food at all. So Western food is much more expensive than here in Thailand. Because it's Western food. So yes, generally the people who don't like living here, it's too hot, too sticky. They don't like the food, and they can't get by with the language. But you don't need to speak Thai to live here in Thailand, and that's why I've found. And I've met so many people who've hated living in Thailand because it's not their cup of tea. So it's not for everybody. I mean, other people say go to Malaysia, go to the Philippines, but Philippines have their own problems as well, as does Malaysia. So for those people who want to look elsewhere than their own country, try a few countries. Go live in it. By living in there for 6 months, you get a feeling whether you like it or whether you don't. I love Thailand. I really do. I sing its praises. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Okay. So, long stay in Thailand. The options. Yeah, Wise is my go-to transfer app. Yeah, fantastic. How do you maintain an address in the UK for a bank account if you move to Thailand? Uh, Now, there are agencies that will give you a sort of a postal address in England, so you still do maintain an address in England. Now, I just use my sister's house as a postal address, and that's okay with the banks and everybody else and my insurance companies. So that works for me using a relative's house for postal address and things like that. Yeah, but there are definitely agencies, and it might cost you £30 or £40 a year to maintain this postal address. But Google it. Google it. You know, having a resident postal address in the UK, it works. I don't know anybody that's actually doing that, and in fact, I think there's a guy, John the Accountant. I think he's called. He's a subscriber on mine, John the Accountant. If you Google John the Accountant, you might find him. And he sets up companies and addresses and things like that for people in the UK. So if you want me to pass his address, I'll put my email address on there. So it's like if anybody wants to send me a personal message, then just send it to Leslie 58 at yahoo.com. Leslie Pearson 58 yahoo.com. If anybody's got any personal message or specific questions that they want answering, I can point you into the right direction. I can point you into many different directions, and if I don't know, I'll point you to the people who do know. So yeah, there are many places that you can look for your addresses and things like that in England. Sorry, I passed that. Long stay in Thailand, the options. Retirement visa, renewable every year. Marriage visa, renewable every year. The elite visa, that's for 5 years, but that's 600,000 baht for the elite visa for 5 years, and you don't get that back. That's once you paid it, it's gone. Then there's the elite 10-year visa, and I think that's about 1 million baht. That's far out of my league, so I don't even look into that sort of thing. But if you can afford an elite visa, you can afford also not to lose 600,000 baht by doing a revised retirement visa, which I point people in the right direction for that. So you don't lose, you get all the benefits of the elite visa, but you don't lose your 600,000. But even that, you still have to be over 50-year-old to be able to do that. But if you've got the money to spend on the elite visa, well, that's the easiest way, but it's also the most costly way. You can also get education visa, which lasts a year. I think it's about 55,000 baht for that. So the education visa, so you can learn Thai or you can go Muay Thai boxing. So there's various visas that you can apply for that, but that's 55,000, and I think that's a lot of money to pay for an education visa. So them are the main ways of being able to stay here long term in Thailand. Now, some people have asked me whether I don't want to become a citizen of Thailand to be able to live here full time, and that is possible. But to do that, there's many more hoops that you have to jump through. You have to speak fluent Thai because you get an interview in Thai. Excuse me. And the visa for that, there's two prices. It ranges from, if you've got a work visa, it's 90,000 baht for that visa, and if you've a not working visa, I believe it's 150,000 baht. Now, my retirement visa for marriage, although it's a tutor to go on, and I'm doing it now, and there's a wedge of paper that needs to be done, it's not an impossibility. And that cost me 1,900 baht a year. So there's a lot of 1,900 baht for doing a bit of paperwork compared to the 90,000 baht if you want to live here full time. Swings and roundabouts. Some people have done it, some people haven't. I just chose the easiest way, the marriage visa. Although there's a lot more paperwork to do, you only need 400,000 baht in the bank, or to show an income method of 40,000, which is half what you need to show if you've got a retirement visa. But the retirement visa, you need 65,000 income method or 800,000 baht in the bank. So you can see there's a big difference. So in a nutshell, that's the way that one works. In Thailand till I die, ask me as well. I'll be on that sofa there because the sun rises over there, and I get up and have my coffee on there on the morning, and that's where I'll see me days out over here. All right, Wednesday, one-way travel with Thai, hoping. Oh yeah, this I've got this in one of my questions. Yeah, I would say the immigration like to see, if you're coming across on a tourist visa, then they want to see that you're going to be leaving the country. So what I would do, or what I suggest to do, is book a ticket to Cambodia, a one-way ticket to Cambodia or Laos or Vietnam or something like that. Just find the cheapest flight outside of Thailand and do that within your first 30 days to say that you're going to fly out within 30 days. But once you're in Thailand, every option is available with regard to extending your visa, because you'll get a 30-day on entry visa, which you can extend for 30 days. And then if you want more, you can do a border run to Laos, Vietnam or Cambodia and come back and get another 30-day, then another 30-day. But also, if you intend to stay here, once you start on your second, well, you've got your 30-day visa, then your extension for your 30-day visa, then you're within that 30 days where you can apply for a retirement visa. But I would suggest opening a bank account, putting 65,000 baht from your home country into that bank account for that 2 months. Then that shows immigration that you've got the income method. So there are ways and means around the system. But to save any embarrassment or not being asked to join the plane or whatever because you haven't got an outbound flight, I'd book a flight to Cambodia or anywhere cheap outside of Thailand within the 30 days of your visa. That's the easiest way. And it's much cheaper than booking a return flight to your home country. So many people have done that, and I've never heard anybody say it's failed. Travel with Thai. Oh, this would be a problem. Most people said it would be okay. I think of booking, and yeah, we've just done that. Oh, John the accountant. Hi, John. £25, 1,000 baht for the flight. Yeah. John, put a message on there. I said to somebody, they're on about trying to find an address, how to maintain an address in the England, and I said that you do something where you can sort people out with address or something in England. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you can do. So there are things that can be done. I mean, I use my sister's address, so that sort of covers me for that. But I know there's difficulties for some people to maintain address in the UK. So while you're putting something on like that, I'll go through another question on the pre-questions. Electricity cost. Now, we're all suffering from the cost of living crisis. Well, say we're all suffering. I'm not suffering over here for that type of cost. But basically what it is, the question was the electricity costs are going up in England all the time. Are we suffering from the same thing over here in Thailand? Well, I've got to say my electricity cost here per 1,000 units or 1,000 watts is 12 pence. So that's 15 euros. Yeah, not 15 euros. Anyway, do the calculations. I've coughed up on the calculations, but the cost of electricity here is 12 pence per 1,000 units. And in the UK, at the minute, because you're getting a subsidy, it's 32 pence per 1,000 units. And that will go up to 52 pence or 56 pence after the subsidy is finished. So the electricity is a third of the cost as what it is now in the UK. So my electricity bill per month here, and I was going to bring a copy out to show people because some people don't believe me that my electricity bill is less than £15 a month, not a week, a month, and it's 12 pence, which is very, very, very cheap per 1,000 units. So yes, between 700 and 800 baht a month I pay for electricity. So the cost of living crisis, although the inflation rate in Thailand is much, much less than it is in England, generally the price of everything is much, much cheaper than in the UK. So swings and roundabouts, really. You know, I'm always saying to people, look outside of the box. When you get to retirement age, why would you want to spend the remaining days of your life struggling because you might have a little bit less money than that you normally have? The weather's cold, you're stuck indoors all the time when there's other possibilities of what you can do. Yeah, okay. John sorting that out. So, okay, another question. Somebody's asked me what the best thing about living in Thailand and what's the worst thing about living in Thailand. The best thing, I would say, is the cost of living. Yeah, by far the best is to do with the cost of living because my money goes a lot further here. I mean, this is where I'm living now. I could not, for the life of me, afford to live this lifestyle back in the UK. Now, this is costing me about £450 a month, roughly £450 a month. Now, I just get a little two-bedroom terraced house for that in not a very nice area. And then there's council tax to pay on top of that. So my housing costs would be about £600 a month. Here, there's no council tax. There's no other taxes to pay. I pay for the rent for this place now, which is about £450 a month. And but that's on a rent to buy deal that we're buying this house over a period of time. And as I say, I know people who are living on £120, £140 a month for a studio apartment overlooking the sea. Studio apartment overlooking the sea. Now imagine that. And I've just done a couple of videos of two houses, literally 5 minutes walk from a nice beach. One was 13,000 baht and the other one was 17,000 baht. So it's less than £300 a month for a 3-bedroom detached house, literally 5 minutes walk from a nice beach. Do I need to say more? That's the best thing about living in Thailand. Then there's the crime. Crime rate over here is next to zero. There is crime. There's crime in every country in the world, but you don't see it here. I've lived here for 7 years, and the biggest crime in the village that we live in, somebody stole a bunch of bananas. That's the crime of the century in our village. Car crime. Sometimes I've left my car door unlocked. But if you left your car door unlocked in England at the minute, it'd be rifled, everybody would go through it and be stolen. Motorbike crime is horrendous. The amount of scooters that are getting pinched, unbelievable. I've got a little Honda 125 scooter here. I can park it anywhere. Nobody's going to steal it. So the crime side of it, the feeling safe. There is no scumbags hanging around the shops, menacing looking, looking at old people or looking for somebody to target, walking into a shop and that. There was a guy came into the hospital when I was in the hospital in the UK, and it was like 11 o'clock on the evening, and he just went into the shop, and this guy said, "Give us a fag, mate, give us a fag." And he said, "No." He said, "Go and buy your own." And when he came out of the shop, 4 guys attacked him and stole his cigarettes, all because he wouldn't give this thug, this menacing guy who stood outside of a shop asking for a cigarette. He got beaten up for it, and his cigarettes were stolen from him. Crazy, 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 crazy. And the worst thing about living in Thailand, now that might take some time to think about that, because as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned, there isn't any worse thing about living in Thailand. Um, I'm happy with everything. There's nothing I can complain about. Whinge, yeah, everybody can whinge about something and whinge about the paperwork for going to immigration. But people trying to get to England, the immigration trying to do the paperwork there, I'm sure they'll whinge. I think every country has its problems with regard to immigration and paperwork. Nobody likes paperwork. But I wouldn't even call that the worst thing. I'm happy with everything over here. Right, let's have a look. Les, it's expensive to live in Thailand for an average Thai person. It's only cheap to live because you're UKIP. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, Thai people have a much less income than what we do. I'm fortunate. That's why I moved to Thailand, because my wages go and my pension goes a long, long way here. And I'm sure if the Thai people could find another country cheaper to live in, they'd do exactly the same. I'm not knocking the Thai people work very, very hard for what they get. But yes, us foreigners don't seem to realise and appreciate the lifestyle that we can have over here for our money. But also, by us foreigners living over here, we're helping to support the Thai economy. I support the street food sellers because we buy street food. We don't eat in posh restaurants. We go to normal everyday restaurants. We buy food and fruit from the local people who drive past with the melons or the ice creams and things like that. So we're helping with our money to help the Thai economy in one way or another. So yes, I'm grateful for my pension, for my salary that I get from the UK. And yes, I do live a better lifestyle, but I've never ever made any bones about that. It's, but I could live in Cambodia, I could live in the Philippines, I could live in Malaysia, because that's the choice. Because of my income will go further even in them countries than it would do in the UK. UK in my mind has lost it. So why should I stay in the UK when I can afford a better lifestyle elsewhere? Not knocking the Thai people. The Thai people are wonderful people, and that's why I choose to live in Thailand. Nothing to do with I'm better than anybody else. I'm a normal working guy who thinks outside of the box and decide to live somewhere else. Yeah, you'd look if you get a 1 bedroom flat for 450 and some rundown high street in the UK for that. Yeah, when I came back and I got diagnosed with emphysema, um, I looked at various houses in Redcar, and I thought, okay, I'll just rent a room in Redcar, and that'll pay the electricity bill, and there's no council tax to pay. But to rent a room with its own ensuite in Redcar was £600 a month, including the electricity bills. So a 1 bedroom room with its own toilet, £600 a month. To rent a house, a 2 bedroom house in not a very nice area, £450 plus. So yeah, and I've got this far better location, far better lifestyle. So anybody should do the same thing if they can. Right, so look. Here we go. I'll go another question. Oh, my filtration system. In my little pre-video of this one, I mentioned about I'm putting a filtration system in. Now, we get our water from the lakes, and they've got their filtration system, I think, and it comes through. And but we've already got a filter, and what a mess that we were on holiday, and the landlady at the time said, "Oh, Les, do you want us to put a filtration system in?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And the Thai man put the on filtration system in, and what a mess he made. So his idea to fix it is to chisel out the concrete path, bury the pipes, and then little black flies, and then concrete over. Which I said no, because then you're going to spoil the pathway. So please don't do that. I said, listen, leave it alone. I'll do it myself. So now I've bought two posts. I'm going to move the tank. There's alter the pipe work so the pipe work's not all over the place. So yeah, I'm doing a step-by-step video on that with regard to the filtration system. Now the water has been going into the tank, and occasionally when the water gets to the bottom, all the sludge and stuff comes out. So I'm going to be cleaning the tank. I'm going to put in this new filtration system in, so the water is a lot cleaner going into the tank before it even comes out. So yeah, so that'll take maybe another 3 or 4 weeks with regard to doing the work for that, because I'll do it in little stages. And I'm going to collect my wife from Karat later on this week anyway, because she's had to go to Karat because her mum went to hospital. So I'm home alone doing the things on my own. So yeah, filtration system, it will be coming up. It'll be coming up as and when in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But I've got many of the videos that I'm going to be doing. It sort of doesn't stop. Okay, now this is the this is the interesting bit. And I said earlier on in the video, this is one of the subject that I like, because I don't know many wealthy people, but it was nice to hear a wealthy person's perspective on this. And it was dating professional women in the land of smiles. Professional women. Okay, this guy, I'm not going to say his name or where he makes his money, but he is a multi-millionaire. And I was introduced to him from a friend of mine. And he was a down-to-earth guy, a nice guy, and we were sat talking. And I'm a people person. I ask everybody this. If I meet somebody, I ask them the story, why they're here, and what they think of living in Thailand. So imagine this multi-millionaire, very talented guy, runs quite a number of successful companies. So he lives the high-so life, if you like. He lives in the best hotels, he lives in the best condos, he goes to eat in the best restaurants. So he does everything best. So he doesn't frequent the bars. Well, he does, but he doesn't frequent the bars like he goes to the high-so places. So I was talking to him because he was single. And I said, why are you single? I said, you know, you're a wealthy guy. You should have a number of different women or whatever. And he told me the story. Now, this is the story that I'm going to tell you, which is very interesting. He says, because of his job and his position and his educated, he thought about going out with the manageresses of the hotels. He's been in various companies. He's been to dinners, so he's met some very talented Thai ladies, executives, and very well educated people. And he said, I have been out with a few. And he said, but did I like it? He says, no, I don't. And he said that this is the reason why he didn't like it, because if the girl is educated, she's got a good job. She's worked hard to get to that job. So he said, I have enough money to take care of the girls and say, listen, pack in your job, come and live with me. I'll give you a salary or whatever. You'll never ever have to work again. I'll buy your house, blah, blah, blah. And he says, they say no. Every one of them says, no, I'm not going to pack in my job. He said, because it's took me years to get this job, but you could be here today and tomorrow you could be gone. And I've lost my job. And they only get like they have to work 5 or 6 days. They don't get as many holidays as the Westerners get. So as far as being with a girl who's educated, got a nice high-so job, they don't get the freedom that the bar girls have. Because the bar girls can say, okay, I'll go on holiday tomorrow with you. If you're going to take me on holiday, I'll go on holiday with you. Because they've got the freedom to do that, because you're paying for everything. Now, even though this wealthy guy could pay for everything, they chose not to, because they're not going to lose what it took years and years to get, because you as a foreigner could walk away tomorrow, some pretty young thing flashes her eyelids at you, and then you're out and you're away and you've gone. So he says he much prefers going out with the bar girls, because at the drop of a hat, click of your fingers, yeah, I'll come on holiday with you. And he said they're much more fun. He said because they're not worried about pressurization for jobs and things like that. They will go anywhere, do anything, and have a big smile on the face, because they're not worried about a job. So that's the other side of the coin about the millionaire who dated girls, you know, from high paid jobs and high salaries and high education. He preferred the bar girls because they were much more fun to be with. And I've got to say, in my own mind, he's correct because, you know, if she's beautiful, then that's what most people are looking for. If she's educated, that's a bonus. But having an education, it stops you as you being a retired person or an elderly gentleman. They're not going to give up their lifestyle, their jobs, to come travel around with you. So in the end, you'll still end up traveling alone. That's my perspective of it when I talk to. I only know two wealthy guys, and they sort of both have the same story. Whereas the normal everyday guy comes here, the choice is phenomenal. But I also know a few guys that are married to nurses, teachers, and things like that. I don't know anybody that's married to a doctor, but teachers and nurses and things like that. Even 7-Eleven girls, the girl still works in the 7-Eleven. You still have to have an education to be able to get in 7-Eleven. That's my view on it. That's my understanding on it. And I hope the person who asked the question understands what I'm trying to say. Excuse me. So that's dating. Any more questions on here? I'll have a look and see if there's any questions on here. We get a council flat for £450 a month. That's about it. Yeah, my sister pays, I think, £600 a month, but because she's on benefits, because she's got ill health, she gets help towards that, which is good, which is how it should be. I can wait to give up my rented flat and retire to Thailand next year. Well, best of luck, Super 8 Rescue. Best of luck with your future plans with regard to living and moving over to Thailand. It's a wonderful place. But have a look at the various areas that you can live in, because there's so many beautiful places to live over here in Thailand. Find somewhere that you can. There's our two hammocks. That's mine and that's my wife's. I've only put them up here because just to give them an airing out. And there's we have a nice sofa. So the lifestyle here is just, it is second to none. Second to none, I've got to say. I've never found anywhere that I like better than living here. The standard of workmanship in Thailand can be truly shocking. Yeah, it is. And excuse the pun, but I was an electrician also in England, and I've done many electrical repairs over here because the electrics has been shocking. I have helped a couple of people out to, if you like, wire a brand new house up. And in England at the time, I mean, this is going back 12, 14 years ago, I used to make £2,500 to rewire somebody's house or a new electrical installation. I helped this one guy, a friend of mine, out, and at the end of 2 weeks, I made £500, and I lost maybe it's a stone in weight. It's very hot, and I've told my wife if anybody asks me to rewire or do anything, to give me a slap and say don't be so stupid because it's too hot, and you get nothing for it over here. Go and find a reputable Thai person to be able to do it. But that's harder said than done, because every Thai person here says, I can do that, I can do that. Even, and knowing far well that they can't. Anyway. So look. Ding, 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 ding. Coming over to jump team in September from Redcar to live. Am I doing the right thing? Bit nervous as I'm solo. Now let me think for a nanosecond. Are you doing the right thing? Yes, of course you are. Jomtien is a lovely place. Solo traveller. Okay, I offer this service. There was another lad who was coming, maybe later on. Yeah, July. Later on in July. For those people who are nervous that want to come over here, and I just say this is to help out, and I've done it for 2 or 3 other people as well. Pay me and my wife for 2 nights to come and stay in Pattaya if you come to Jomtien and you want to stay in, or you want to go around Pattaya because you're a little bit nervous with it all. I've lived here for 11 years, so I know the score, I know everything that goes on, and I can point you in the right direction. And if you're that nervous, or anybody, this is anybody that's watching the channel as well, just pay for me and my wife to stay for 2 nights in the hotel, 1,200 baht a night, so it's 2,400 baht, and we'll come round, we'll show you around the places, we'll show you the places to go. Once you've seen it for 2 days, it's easy then, because it's like everything else. Once you know, you know, and there's no problems in it whatsoever. You don't get ripped off. You will not get ripped off in the places that we show you, and we'll just show you everything. We've got no qualms about that. You know, if you want to go to the go-go bars, you want to go to soapy bars, you want to go to the gentlemen's clubs or things like that, we can show you that. And by just paying for 2 nights for me and my wife to stop in Pattaya. Once you've seen it for 2 days, you'll never forget it, and you'll see how easy it is. No trouble. And by, okay, some people might say, oh, 2,400 baht. I'll save you more than that. Save you more than that in just 1 hour if you went to the wrong bars. So anyway, that's what we do. We help people out. And because we like Pattaya anyway, and it's good for us for the bars. Although we're not bar people, we live in the middle of the countryside, but occasionally we let our hair down, go watch the live bands in Pattaya. It's different for the food. It's just a different atmosphere compared to where we live in the countryside here. So every now and then it's nice to let your hair down and go and live in the crazy land of Pattaya. So that's the service that we have. So anybody want to know a little bit, send me an email. 58 at there we go. Put me email. Leslie Pearce from 58 Yahoo. Oh, wrong. Leslie Pearce from 58 at yeah, not Yahoo, yahoo.com. And I've got my glasses on as well. So yeah, that's what we do. And as I say, people, oh, Kevin, hi from Brazil. Oh, that's the other side of the world. You're up early in Brazil. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, also, if people want to have a look around this area for housing and things like that, we offer a service of 1,500 baht for the day, and we'll drive you around the area so you can have a look. We'll show you what's available and what isn't available, and if you like a house or a condo in a certain area, my wife will get out and she'll go and ask to see if there's anything available for rent and things like that. And this is what we do to help people out. But it's a day of our time, so we ask for 1,500 baht, and then we'll stop for lunch at a nice beach restaurant halfway during the day. So it's like from 9 till 5, and that's what we do. But that's to help other people out who want to come to the Rayong area and have a look around with potential staying here. As I say, it's a beautiful area. It's not touristy area, so therefore it's a lot cheaper to live. And by living here, it's a lot cheaper. And we have a beautiful island, Koh Samet, which is fantastic, which is 10 minutes away by the ferry, 150 baht by the safe ferry, or 60 baht on the slow boat, which takes you 45 minutes. And Koh Samet has got one of the top 10 whitest beaches in the world. Can't sing its praises. And that's within 30 minutes of where we live. So, oh, Kevin, thanks very much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you. I shall have a couple of cups of coffee with that. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Bill Simpson. Hi, Bill. I'm absolutely fantastic, mate. Thanks very much for asking. Always a pleasure to look at your replies on my emails and things like that. Not my emails, my comments and things like that. Top supporter. Thanks very much. Oh, so how long we've been going now? For nearly come up to an hour now. And now the last stream that I did was almost 3 hours. So my voice might start going now, but I've got some refreshments next to me now, keeping on ice. So So I'm here for the long haul. As long as people have got questions and want to ask questions, brilliant, and I'll answer as many as I can. In Thailand till I die. Hello, Les. Just booked a flight to Cambodia, 31 quid as an outbound flight. Peace of mind, better safe than sorry. Fantastic. 31 quid. That's what I'm saying. It's better to be safe than sorry. And immigration, some people can be let through with it and other people can't. Um, Now, I give advice on visas. Now, I don't really want to go along the visa route now on this chat because the last time I worked it out, I spent about 2.5 hours out of the 3 hours just talking about visas and how you can do it. Now, there's always a way of getting around the visa system, and I have a few workarounds which are 100% legal, and it stops you from using agents. But I also send people to agents if they're not too sure of the paperwork and things like that. Immigration are not your enemy. Immigration are your friend. Immigration people will help you fill out the forms. And it's a little bit frustrating when some people ask my advice on how to do it and then they just ignore it. And then when they get a problem with immigration, it's, so there's plenty of YouTubers out there with information. Um, Listen to all the information that you want, read it, digest it, and then act on it. Because potentially there's a lot of people with misinformation out there. And I could be the same. Some people could say that some of the information that I get is misinformation. I don't think I like to think that my research and my answers to the questions are always 100% correct. But you never know, I might be wrong once or twice. But in essence, everything that I say can be done. And I know for a fact everything that I suggest, other people are doing it and it works. But pension, you can just go on and on and on. But for those people who want to know a little bit more about their pension, send me an email. Not pension, retirement visas and how you can work around if you don't have the 65,000 or you don't have the 800,000. There are workarounds which are 100% legal and that can be done. And I do send people to various agents in Pattaya. I get nothing from it. I get no kickback. I get no commissions, and that's just the way I am, because it's like everything else. You know, if you recommend something, there's always something involved as for like a reimbursement of costs and things like that. I'm above that. If I send it to somewhere, I send it because it's advice. I send it because I think they'll be able to help you out, not for kickbacks or things like that. And going on from that, another question. Let's have a look. Okay, is it best to buy a house or condo or rent? Now, as I said, there are many ways to look upon this. In reality, a foreigner cannot own the land here. He can lease the land and he can own the house that sits on top of the land, but he can never ever own the land over here. Now, there are people who say you just set up a company, but that's a grey area, because in reality, if the Thai government want to do you for that, they can, because you're circumventing the law to try to say that you'll never own the land. People might say you own it, but in reality you don't. But you can own a condo in your name. But even owning a condo can have its caveat, because let's say there's 100 units, condo units in a particular building, 51% of them have to belong to Thai people. So 49 condos out of the 100 have to belong to foreigners. So if the developers have been a little bit sneaky and it's 52% to foreigners, or 51% foreigners and 49% Thai, you cannot sell your condo to another foreigner. It'll have to be to a Thai, because the balance is wrong. And there was one guy that wrote to me, and he couldn't sell his condo because he bought it off plan, and he couldn't sell his condo for 5 years because the balance was wrong with regard to ownership. So although you can own it and put it in your own name, sometimes you might be held up by trying to sell it. Um, the reason I'm buying my house here is um, because I've met many subscribers and I've met many people, and somebody had a different view of thinking about buying the house, and they gave me some good reasons as to buy the house as opposed to renting it. And I agreed with their reasons, and I'm happy to say that I'm for not much more than I was paying rent, I can actually buy this house now. So one day it will be mine, not mine, it will be my wife's. It will always be my wife's. But when all's said and done, we're all going to die one day. So it's never truly yours in the first place. Me and my wife, we've been together now for 7 years, been married for 5 years. I trust her. She's one of the nicest people that walks on this earth. I trust her 100%, no doubts whatsoever. So by me buying this house for not much more than what we're paying for rent, she gets something at the end of the day when I curl my toes up also. And she's happy with that. We both work together to maintain this house and things like that. So for me, it's a win-win situation. Um, and one day I will not have any rent to pay because it'll be paid for. And hopefully I'll live long enough to live another good few years in this house without having to pay any rent. Who knows? Nobody knows. We all know how much money we've got and how to make the money, but we never know how much time we have. And when all's said and done, um, time uh, time is you can't buy time back. You can buy everything else, but you can't buy time. So that's why I say to people: retire as soon as you can, when you can, for as long as you can, and enjoy the things that you want to do when you retire. And hopefully, that's what I try to do. Nipper morning, Liz. I'm running a bit late. No problem. Come and join. We've been going for an hour, just over an hour now. So we've discussed a few things, and we're going on. Kevin, you're welcome. You're a great man. Thank you very much. John the accountant, is it better to get a 60-day visa from the Thai embassy in line and then another 30-day extension in Thailand, 90 days? Yeah, you can do that. Although they call it a 90-day visa, it's only actually 60 days and then you get a 30-day extension. Now, you have to apply for that overseas. You can't do that in Thailand. You'll only get a 30-day entry visa and then you can extend it for 30 days. But if you put all your ducks in a row and you know you're going to do all of this lot, you can do everything in the 2 months. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. What I suggest is that you arrive here on a, this is one of my suggestions, and this is probably the easiest one. You arrive here on the tourist visa. Your very first week, you open up a bank account. Now, I would say go to an agent to open a bank account because even if you have the 800,000 baht now, it's more difficult to open a bank account than it ever has been. But an agent can wave their magic wand and open it up for you, and that will be for up to 5,000 baht to open up a bank account. It seems like a lot of money, like 120 quid, 115, something like that. But it saves you running around. You could go to 20 different banks and things like that, and they're all going to say no. So for the sake of ease and doability, get an agent to do it. And I can recommend a couple of agents that can do it. If you want to send me an email, and I'll point you in the right direction. Again, I get nothing out of this. The fact that the places I can send you to somebody that can help you out. So open up a bank account, deposit 65,000 baht into that account on that first month. And then the next financial, so just say it's January for ease of working out. So you arrive in January, you open a bank account in January, even on the 30th of January, you deposit 65,000. And then in February, when you get your 30-day extension, deposit another 65,000 baht. So now you've got two entries of 65,000 baht into your bank account. Now that shows immigration the income method. And once you've done that, you can go to immigration and start the ball rolling for a retirement visa on the income method without putting 800,000 baht in the bank. That's the easiest way of doing it. But if you do like what you said, John, where you get the 60 days and night, it gives you a bit more time. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. And if for whatever reason the immigration department says, oh no, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, then you can get an agent to do it, and an agent will charge 30 up to 38, 40,000 baht now, I think it is. There's some agents that are cheaper than that, but if you say 38 to 40, then you know you're covered, and that will give you 15 months using an agent. And then during that 12 months, you just put 65,000 baht into your bank account every month, and have it, make sure it's a foreign income transfer from overseas. Then on the next time you apply for your visa, you can use the income method, because the income method shows 65,000 baht, and then you don't have to pay an agent anymore. So use the agent for the first year, put your 65,000 baht into your bank account every year, every month for a year. Bob's your uncle. 15 minutes later, you walk out of immigration with your retirement visa. How easy is that? Much, much easier. So, okay, let's have a look. I took a 30-year lease on the land of my Thai secretary and built a house office on it. She gets it when I drop dead. Yeah, and may you last forever, John, or as long as possible. Yeah, the lease protect. Now we've got a private finance deal, so our situation is a little bit different. And like what we've got to buy this house is like a rent to buy deal with our landlady. So that's a separate agreement. But once it becomes ours and it's paid for, then what I would do is get a 30-year lease on this land from my wife, because it'll be in my wife's name. So if I get a 30-year lease from her, then that means she can't force me off this land, force me out of the house, and I've got a 30-year lease. So at the minute, we're doing from one agreement is the private agreement that we've got with regard to this house, with a private finance deal. And then as soon as it's paid for, and my wife's okay with it because we've discussed all of this lot, and I've said I want it for my own security. I trust her 100%, but I've trusted my other three wives also, which absolutely hammered me into the ground for divorce and payments and things like that. So I've explained to her, it's not that I don't trust you, it's just that I want the peace of mind. And she said, yeah, no problem, because you paid for it anyway. Now, because we're married, if we did get divorced and we paid for the house, I'm entitled to 50% of it anyway because of marriage. So I don't actually lose everything because I'm married. So it's complicated, but it's doable. And if you're happy in your own mind doing it, then I would suggest anybody to do it. But if you've got any doubts with your girlfriend or your partner or your wife or whatever, don't do it. Just rent. And then if anything goes up the wall, pack your bags and away you go. Only do it if you're 100% certain with the partner that you're with. Because sadly, there are too many sad stories in Thailand compared to the good stories. But the good stories don't make the reading, or don't make the subscribers, or for the thumbs up your YouTube count, analytics and things like that. And it's like bad news always sells, and it's the same in Thailand. Bad stories always get the views. But I've got so many good stories, but they're boring to other people. I would say my story is a good story, which might be boring to some people. Anyway, you get my drift, you get what I'm on about. Nipper, thanks very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Love all the info you give to us all. Top drawers. Thank you very much. Very, very happy with that. And again, I'm like an open book. I'm honest with everything. Some people say that I'm too honest. That I wear my heart on my sleeve. And the things I've talked about, I've been bankrupt, I've been divorced three times. I don't want the fourth time. I've lost property and things like that. I've made some bad decisions in my life. I don't do that for sympathy. I do it to help those people who might be going through a similar situation, that at the deepest, darkest hole, and they want to get out of it, and light at the end of the tunnel. I'm a normal guy. Now, if I can do it, anybody else can do it. The bankruptcy thing, I was very shy and embarrassed and ashamed of going through bankruptcy. But I use that to a positive, because I was a firefighter at the time, and I was a gaffer, so I was in charge. And I had so many people knocking on my door when I go to other fire stations with regard to when I was in charge of the fire station. Young people knocking on my door. Oh, Les, I've heard you've gone through bankruptcy, and I've got some financial problems myself. I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell people, listen, this is what I did. This is how I got out of it. This is how you can recover. That was 22 years ago now since that happened. But people still ask me for advice and how you get out of it, how you're feeling, and things like that. I felt like a failure, a true failure when I went bankrupt because I never ever had that problem. But how you can turn a negative into a positive, it's the way you deal with it. And for every negative, there's a positive, and for every outcome, there's a solution for everything. And that's why I pride myself on, because I think outside of the box. Somebody gives me a problem, I'll come up with a solution. Sometimes it might not be the best solution, but it's a solution when all's said and done. That's the way I tick. That's the way I go around, and that's the why I come up with other solutions for problems that people get in Thailand. There's a solution, but I will never ever do anything illegal in Thailand because I love living in Thailand. I don't want to be thrown out of Thailand. But my workarounds are 100% legal, and there is workarounds for almost everything here in Thailand, apart from uh, medical insurance. There's no workaround for that, but everything else there's a workaround. Can you open a bank account on a visa exemption 30 days from the UK? No, well, I've never met anybody that's opened a bank account from the UK. It's one of them things that you've got to open it up in Thailand. Um, So I'm not 100% sure whether you can open a Bangkok bank account from England. I've never met, and nobody's ever said to me that they've opened a bank account from England or America or Australia. It always usually has to be done in person because you have to show your ID card or your passport. There's a humongous amount of paperwork to fill out. So I'm not 100% certain, but I don't think so. Okay, let's say you take 30-year lease and drop dead after 10 years. Does it immediately pass back, or can you leave the remaining 20 years in your will to someone? Yes, I believe, because there's a friend of mine did that, and he's 86, and he's got 4 houses, and his name was on the leases for 30 years. Now his wife, or his girlfriend, not his wife, his girlfriend asked him to take his name off because his family, like what you said there, John, if it's for 30 years and he drops dead after 10 years and then 20 years, his family could have the pleasure and the use of that, which stops her from selling the property. You know, this is what you've got to look into. And when you draw the 30-year lease, that you can turn around and say, once I've gone, any of my family are not entitled to carry on with the lease. So family members, children, things like that. You just make sure when you draw it up with a lawyer, for your peace of mind, if you want your kids to enjoy that, or if you just want to pass it over to your partner, that's the way you can do it. So the guy took his name off he's 86-year-old, she's not going to throw him out. She's on a good income. She's got 4 houses. So yeah, she knows which side of the bread's buttered on, if you know what I mean. But is it possible that they can throw it? Of course, it's possible that they could throw it, and then everything's in her name anyway. But yeah, one, safeguard yourself first, your own loss and liability and protection, and two, think of your partner when you're gone, that she still may have problems once you're gone. So, good way of looking at it, John. I've recommended quite a few clients in the past to go bankrupt rather than do a voluntary arrangement. The reason is that you can clear off everything and start a clean slate after 1 year. Yeah, it's changed. It was 3 years when I went bankrupt. I had no pleasure in saying that I went bankrupt. It was through divorce and one thing or another. It was a so from having 3 houses, and I had 4 jobs and working 7 days a week, and to getting divorced, and then everything just went. The interest rates went up to 15%, so it was horrendous time. It was like a perfect storm and 2 storms together. So, but I've been bankrupt, and I came out of it the other end, and it was my financial advisor that told me to go bankrupt. And sister's advice, I sought all the help and things that I could do, and from having 3 houses, should say, just about to buy the fourth, to ending up in a bedsit, in a crappy little bedsit. Talk about going from the good to the bad. That's what happened to me. I'm just gonna fill up my glass with lemonade. So yeah, boy, did I feel bad for quite a few weeks in my situation that I was there. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. We all make mistakes. We all make a bad decision or whatever. But there are ways and means of getting out of it. So bankruptcy isn't the end of the world. In fact, I always say to people, Donald Trump went bankrupt 3 times. One of the wealthiest men in the world went bankrupt 3 times. So how can somebody go bankrupt 3 times and still be the president of the United States of America and still be a billionaire? So bankruptcy for him probably worked. Let's have a look. Yeah, people judge you on what you say, Les, and I heard nothing. There are still people that will talk bad about me, ex-wives for one, and my children for another. But you could be the nicest person in the world, and somebody's going to hate you. Somebody's going to not like you because you are the nicest person in the world and everybody likes you. But this one person can't stand you because you are the nicest person in the world. So I'm like Marmite. You either like me or you don't like me. I've got no bad words or bad feelings to anybody in my past. My ex-wives, I've always said to them, if I didn't make you happy, go and find somebody that makes you happy. I don't carry any regrets. I don't carry any illness or malice towards anybody. Just get on with it. Just get on with your life. We're only here one time, and having your head full of hatred and full of bad memories doesn't do your mental health any good. Just move on. If somebody's dumped you, they've dumped you for a reason, whatever. What if you dump somebody? They're going to feel just as bad also. Just get on with it. Take it with a pinch of salt and move on. Does it hurt? Yes, it does hurt, but it doesn't hurt forever. So we all know, we all can do different things in life, but we never know when that day is going to come that you have no more life left inside of it. It's finished, it's gone. And tragically, I've seen too many of that during 30 years in the fire brigade. So that's why I have this unique thing of living today, because you never know tomorrow what's going to happen. I meant to open a bank account in Thailand with a 30-day visa when travelling from the UK. Oh, okay, no problem, right. My wife, who's Thai, my mother and I have a house already in Thailand. Can we sort out long-term visas when we actually arrive in Thailand, i.e. retirement visa and marriage visa? Yeah, when you're in Thailand, yeah, just come on a tourist visa, and then you can sort everything else out once you're in Thailand. Now, the easiest visa, even if you're married, is the retirement visa. If you have the income method, or the easiest way is 800,000 baht in the bank, no more problems. It's there. Leave the 800,000 baht in the bank, and happy days. That's the easiest way, but it's tying up the amount of money. If you don't want to tie the money up, then it's 65,000. But if you're married, you only need 400,000 baht in the bank, or 40,000 baht per month as an income method. So you can do all of that long-term stay with visas, but it's only a year. You've got to renew it every year, and there is a lot of paperwork. In fact, I won't. It means going into the house, but the paperwork bundle is about that thick. There's about 80 pages at the minute, and we've still got paperwork to do. And you've got to duplicate that, so there has to be 2 copies of everything. Every page of your passport, every page of your bank book, Um, there's just so much. And then after you've been to the immigration, you're under um, consideration for a month, and then the immigration sends somebody to your house just to check that you're living in the house. So is it too much? No, it isn't too much. In my mind, it isn't too much. It is what it is, and I'll deal with it because it's 2 weeks of chasing around getting the paperwork. Because you even have to go, even though we're married, legally married, we still have to go to what's called the AMPER, which is like the council offices or wherever, and we have to get a piece of paper off them to say yes, we are still legally married, and that's I think 30 baht, 60 pence for them to type up on the computer. Yeah, we're still legally married. We haven't been divorced. And we get that piece of paper. So yeah, so there must be a massive warehouse somewhere full of paperwork. How are they going to find that paperwork if they need to go and get it? I don't know. But yes, the paperwork bureaucracy in Thailand is horrendous. Okay, Kevin, like this video, people. It will help. Like, yeah, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. I've got 21 thumbs up at the minute. It all helps the algorithm, and those people who haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. That'll be fantastic because YouTube looks at all the things. I've almost got 8,200 subscribers at the minute, and there's other people only been on a year and they've got 25,000 subscribers for talking about pizzas and coffee shops and things like that. So, but I like to think my channel is totally different because I give information on visas and everything else with regard to that. I won't tell you how much a piece of pizza costs in the best coffee shop wherever. So I do videos for we always stop in budget hotels about 1,000, 1,200 baht. So I'll do little videos and things like that. We've only ever stayed in a expensive hotel once, and that was 5,000 baht. But I did a video on that, the float house in by the bridge over the River Kwai. And then we also stopped in one for 900 baht a night, and we stopped in one for 2,500. And the one for 2,500, it had no electricity, no internet, but it was the best that we've ever stayed in. It was fantastic. So when I dropped my wife off at Karat, because her mother got took into hospital, so we drove up to Karat 6 hours on the afternoon, and it was dark, and I didn't want to drive back during the night, so I stayed in a hotel 7 minutes away from the hospital. It was beautiful. It was like oldie worldy, country cottagey, 690 baht for the night. And just, I'll stop at this. Oh, excuse me, gassy. So the accommodation that you get over here for like 14, 15 pounds a night is just incredibly cheap. Thailand is a wonderful place to travel around. You don't have to spend a lot of money for your hotel accommodation. Food is cheap. The people are wonderful. I sing its praises all the time. Right, let's have a look. Thanks very much, Kevin. I've got a few more likes there now. We're up to 31 likes. Thank you very much. And we've got 60 people viewing it, which is good. And it goes out afterwards as well for a rerun. So I usually get 1,000 people or something looking at the rerun. So it's worthwhile doing. As I say, if anybody's got any questions, just ask them on the question saying, and I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. Thanks. We are married in England. Does that matter? Yes, it does. Because what you'll have to do, once you come to Thailand, you'll have to go to a place called the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok. And your English marriage certificate, you'll have to get translated into Thai. And once it's into Thai, then you'll have to get it registered at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they stamp it. So then that gives you the Thai marriage certificate and also the English marriage certificate. Now you need this. Just sort of going off subject a little bit here is that many people don't sort out when you die in this country because you're a foreigner. The complications that you can leave your wife are horrendous because you haven't I've got all my paperwork filled out for when I curl my toes up, when I die. Virtually everything's filled in. And I've gone through that with my wife because if as a foreigner you die, like an English guy, if you die over here and you're married, before your wife can get you out of the mortuary, she has to have a death certificate, which is going to be in Thai because it's a Thai doctor. So now you need to get that translated into English. Then you need to give that to the British Embassy in Bangkok. Then the embassy will give you a letter with authority to let you take them out of the hospital. Now that can take up to a week to do. But if your wife doesn't know this, it's just horrendous and it's just time consuming and it's wasteful. So for those people, have a look at when you're going to die, that you've got all your ducks in a row, so you don't leave your wife with a headache. Same with like my fire brigade pension. My wife gets that for life when I die. But I said to her one day the pension will stop. And it's only because we've gone through this that I've told her that if the pension stops, there's a reason why it stopped. And it's they want to know, have your circumstances changed? Are you married or are you still alive? So there's the telephone number and there's the information. And you call them and you give them the information that they want. Because if you didn't tell your wife this, then she'll just say, oh, Les said it was going to be for the rest of my life, but they stopped. Oh, there must be some reason why it stopped. Okay, I'm not going to get any more. And then my pension provider won't chase it up and they'll just stop it. So we're foreigners living here in Thailand, but also we need to have one eye on the ball for when we're not here. Because your wife can't say, oh, Les, what do I do with this? Or Les, what? Because I've gone. But just go through everything that needs to be done. The people that need to be informed, your banks, your building societies, your savings, your money that comes to them or the money that's going to go to the family. Put all your ducks in a row because one day, for sure, we're all going to meet our makers and that is going to be left to our partners. That's just going off the subject a little bit from having a marriage certificate and getting it ratified in Thailand. But yes, Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok. It's a very busy place. Watching you from Macro while queuing, Succumbit Road. Boy, you live an exciting life, Macro. I like Macro. We do most of our shopping in Macro. Again, we live 15 kilometers away from Macro, so we do a big weekly shop. We get all our meat from Macro because although there's a Tesco Lotus near us, or near Macro, I should say, the meat is always better in Macro. Just food shopping over here is incredibly cheap. But Macro, if we go shopping at the Big C in Rayong, I'll go and have a cup of coffee because I don't like pushing that trolley around all the aisles while the wife looks at something. 10 baht. Oh, that's 11. I'll have the 10. I said, listen, I'll go and have a cup of coffee. You go and do your shopping, spend as much as you want, get whatever you want. My wife doesn't go crazy. She doesn't put stuff in the basket that we don't need. So I've always hated walking around. I'll go around a DIY store and spend all day in a DIY store, but Big C or Tesco Lotus, I don't like. Oh, that could be one of the things that I dislike about Thailand. But I dislike shopping, food shopping and things like that in any country. So not just Thailand. George Bankham, spreading the word about you in England. You're doing a grand job. And we all thoroughly love your channel. All the best. Thanks very much. Yeah. I should be streamed to an old age pensioners place, shouldn't I? In the Derby and Joan clubs and the working men's clubs and things like that. Because I had a friend who loved the working men's clubs, and we tried to get him to come here to have a look at Thailand. And he was depressed because he was single and he'd just split up with his girlfriend back in the UK. So I was cheering up. I said, well, my friend said, where do you want to go tonight? Where do you want to go in England? He said, I want to go to the working men's club. So we went to the working men's club, and me and my friend just looked at each other and we said, people are sat here waiting to die. They had the racing on the telly, and they all sat there looking at the telly like that. Some people were playing pool. Then there was a telephone call for John, telephone call for John. It's just like the Wheel Tappers and Shunter Social Club. Ding, 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 ding. You know, no life, no spark, no nothing, with a couple of pints of beer. And I think there's so much more to life than sat in the club. But this is what he likes. Everybody to their own, but there's more to life than watching the telly in the social club, drinking cheap beer, gambling and playing pool. Oh, let's have a look. Hi Les, Thai food is cheap, Western food is not so cheap in Thailand. That's true. So that can alter your budget living in Thailand, whether you eat Thai food or whether you eat foreigner food. If you eat foreigner food, your budget is going to go maybe it's double to what you would normally or what you could spend in Thailand. Now, I like Thai food, so but saying that, there's only 5 or 6 Thai meals that I particularly like, and that's sweet and sour, which I like, chicken and cashew nuts, Penang curry, massaman curry, and mincemeat. I forget pad kaprao, which is mincemeat in basil and something. So 5 or 6 meals. that's my Thai meals that I like, and spring rolls, and then there's the buffet where you cook your own vegetables and pork and stuff like that. So you can eat very, very cheaply here. We have a noodle shop 5 minutes drive away from where we live here, and it's 45 baht for a big bowl of noodles with pork balls, with pieces of chicken or pork in there, and noodles, and the soup is just it's just lovely. For 45 baht, that's a pound. You know, we go there at least once a week, and the majority of the meals, like the sweet and sour pork and the chicken cashew nuts, 160 baht, rounded up with the rice, 200 baht, so a fiver for that type of meal. I'm not a beer drinker, I don't drink and drive, so I'm always on soda water, which is 20 or 30 baht when I'm driving. But occasionally when we do go out and we stop at a bar, I'll stop at a resort next door to the bar if we're going out to a function or something like that. And that's only 500 or 600 baht to stay the night, cheaper than getting a taxi back home. So swings and roundabouts. It is as cheap. If you eat Thai food, you can live incredibly cheap over here. Okay. Thai food, West food, not so cheap. An idea for a video, Les. Oh, sorry, that shouldn't have posted. Okay. Question: if arriving in Thailand on a visa exemption 30 days, what visa options are available for staying longer as a tourist? Okay, well, that is visa exemption. You just get your 30-day tourist visa, then you can 30 days extension. So that gives you 60 days. And then you can either go on a border run, you go on a bus for the day, and you come back the same day, but you only get another 15 days on top of that. But I have heard other people say they've got 30 days, but it depends which border you're going to do, who you're dealing with, things like that. But if you fly out the country, you can come back and you get another 30-day and then a 30-day extension. But you're only allowed to do 2 border bounces in one year, in a 12-month period. And if you do a third one, you can be refused entry because you've done too many. And there's many people that have fallen foul of that, where they think they can just do as many border runs as they want. But they are clamping down on that. So that's the way to do it, is 30 days, extension for 30 days, which will cost you 1,900 baht at immigration. And then go and visit Cambodia or Vietnam for a week or so, or a couple of days, and then fly back. And then you get another 30 days, which you can extend for another 30 days. So there's 120 days anyway. So that's a fair enough holiday period time. And if you want to spend longer in the country within that time period, you can apply for a retirement visa, which then that gives you a lot more options, because then you've got a year, in which about 15 months if you use an agent. but that'll cost you 38,000 baht. Which on this side of things, even a cheap flight to Cambodia and back, you know, you're going to pay half that amount of cost going to Cambodia in a hotel for a week or so. So agents do have their their moments, and they just wave their magic wand and your visa, appears. And then 90 days, you've got to report every 90 days. Now you can do that online, so you don't have to go to the immigration office. Oh, that was one of the other questions that somebody asked as well, is that if you come here and you've got a retirement visa, do you have to go to the same immigration office with regard to doing your 90 days? No, because you can do that online from anywhere in the country or any immigration office. Because, if you're on holiday, then as long as you report for your 90 days, you just go into an immigration office, because your hotel will have already put a TM30, and what a TM30 is a notice to immigration that you are staying at that address. Just go with a letter from your hotel that you're staying there for a week or two, and that's enough for immigration, because they just want to know where you are every 90 days. So it's not difficult. Just follow the law, and with a 90-day report, and you're allowed to do it 7 days before and up to 2 weeks afterwards without being fined. But then if you more than 2 weeks, it's 500 baht a day for being on overstay. And if you're too long on overstay, then you'll get a red mark on your visa, red mark on your passport. So, and you might be denied entry. So don't stay over. There's rules. Stick to the rules. Write it down. Put it in a piece of paper. Put it in your phone. Put a reminder that you've got to do your 90 days. Julie, hi Les, great live chat as always. Thanks very much. We 1 hour 40 minutes into it now, and my throat is beginning to dry up. So, but there's always something to say. I enjoy these chats. They're very good. It's just like I've done a couple of chats at the expats clubs before I moved up to Rayon, and they were good. I've always got something to say and some interesting information. Who says hi? Yak fly. See you soon. Oh, yeah. Plays up with her mum at the minute because her mum took ill and she was admitted in the hospital. So we've got lots of paperwork to do before my visa is up for renewal, and she was worried about that. And I said, listen, your mum's more important. I said, don't worry about the paperwork. Paperwork can always be sorted out, whereas your mum's sick. So I was out in the morning. So on the afternoon, we drove up, which is a 6-hour drive up to Karat. And I drove her straight to the hospital, and she's been there about a week now. So I came home the following day, and I've been doing stuff in the house, and I'm always busy anyway. I'm never bored. I've always got something to do. In fact, I don't know how we used to manage to fit work in when I was working 8 hours a day. And, all the other jobs that I was working 7 days a week. But now there's so much to do, even with the house. The weeds have grown up because it's rainy season now. They've shot up. I've been doing some deep cleaning in the house. So every day, it's just like normal people do. Not everywhere, Retired and living the dream. You still have to do maintenance stuff, and you still have to do everyday normal things like shopping and cleaning the house. Although you can get a cleaner here for between 300 and 500 baht a day. It'll clean the total of your house for maybe 8 or 10 hours for the day. For those people who don't like cleaning. Okay, what else? What else have we got here? Yeah. It looks like that you've lost a few kilos, Les. Are you doing the intermittent fasting again? It really works for me. Yeah, I've lost 8 kilos. 8 kilos this month of July, and we're 16. And in between that, I had my birthday, and we went to Wahin for the assisted living video that I did. So yeah, 8 kilos I've lost, and I'm on this until, well, ideally I want to get down to 90 kilo, but if I get down to 95 again, I'm happy at that. I like my food. I like my sweet stuff. I've got a sweet tooth. So I always going to yo-yo, but I always find the diet on the keto is the easiest diet that I've ever been on, because once you're in ketosis, which might take up to a week or so, I only eat one meal a day. So how cheap can you live in Thailand on one meal a day? You know, that's cheaper than eating Thai food. And you don't feel hungry because I've got excess fat. So your body's always got something to eat. So you never feel hungry. And I eat once a day, about 12 o'clock, and then I don't eat again until the following day at 12 o'clock. So it's easy peasy. It's one of the easiest diets I've been on. My blood pressure, that's the advantage. My blood pressure comes down. But I've also been watching other videos now. And now I'm on having once a day magnesium citrate supplements. Now, apparently 60% of the world's population are magnesium deficient. And the difference that the magnesium citrate does to you is wonderful. Better heart valves, blood pressures, gets rid of the plaque on the veins and things like that. The benefits of magnesium is brilliant. So I'm on that now, and I've been doing them for 4 days. Do I feel any different? I don't know, is the answer. But according to all the science, magnesium citrate is good for you, and it does many, many things. And the other thing I've looked into also is K2, and that gives you wonderful feeling. So them's the two X's that I'm going to take is magnesium citrate and K2 with MK7, and it does a lot to your body. Now the magnesium citrate has 300 elements that does your body good, and the reason why they're saying 60% of the people um, are magnesium deficient is because in the olden days, 100 years or so ago, we drank our water from the river, which had loads of magnesium. Now the water gets desalinated, so all of them magnesium properties come out, and it's very difficult for your body to retain magnesium. So anyway, this is the science. This is what I've looked into. So this is what my thing is that I'm doing now: eating once a day and taking magnesium supplements, and also K2 and MK7. So I'm not a clever person, you know. Other people tell me, and I've watched many videos, and the medical people, there's no money to be made in this because of the cheap supplements. So therefore, the medical profession aren't promoting it because there's no money to be made in it. But the doctors that know the stuff with regard to diets and things like that, that's the people who I listen to, and it's cheap enough to take it. I think for 120 tablets, it's about 15 quid, something like that. Well, it might be 90 tablets. 90 tablets, 15 quid, 3 months, pennies a day. And if it does you any good, well then, you know, it does good. But that's what I'm trying anyway. If anybody's got any other points on that, if that's what they do, leave it on the comments. It'd be brilliant. Yeah, so 8 kilo. Well, my heaviest that I was here was I was 118 kilos, and I'm down to 101 now. So that's one of them 20, almost one of them 20-litre containers of water, and you just have to pick that 20 kilograms up, and I've been walking around with that, you know, 24 hours a day. It makes a bloody big difference. So, all right, have a look. Hi, great talk back. I booked the return to Thailand on the 18th of September and hope to catch up with you in October, Montana. No problem. That'd be good, yeah, October. I mean, yeah, as I say, I'm always up for a cup of coffee or a chat here. And I've got to say, I probably meet people every single week, you know, here and there. And now I can walk to play, like in Pattaya. I walked around Pattaya and like, oh, hi Les, you know, good channel. Wahin, I met 2 people in Wahin because I just walked in the streets and somebody recognizes me, which is nice. I've got time for everybody. Everybody's got a story. I'm a people person, you know, I'll talk to anybody. We were coming to retire in October as a married couple. We were both doing the non-O visa, but it looks like we both have to have 10,000 in a bank account, do they do a married couple visa in the UK? Okay, if you're coming across it as a married couple, what you can do is, it's called a dependency visa. So one person gets the retirement visa, and then the second person gets a dependency visa on the first person who's claiming the retirement visa. Now that can be done fairly easily in Thailand, but you'd have to go through the, if you're going to do the process in England, you'd have to go to the Thai embassy and explain to them that you want, as long as you're over 50 and your wife is, I don't think your partner has to be over 50, but as long as you're married, your partner can apply for a dependency visa on you. So that's the question to ask Thai immigration. You don't need that amount of 800,000 baht times two. You only need it for one person. But even if you just did it on the one person, if you didn't have the 800,000 to put in the bank, you can still do it on the income method. But that's more easily to do in Thailand than it is to do in England, I believe. So no, so in answer to your question, no, you don't need to have 800,000 in your bank account times two people, because there's an American friend of mine who's married to a girl from Burma. So he's going through that process now. He's going to get his visa, and then he's going to get his wife on a dependency visa. But that creates more problems because it involves another visa because she's Burmese and she isn't English. So he lives a very complicated life, this American guy, but it is possible. It can be done. Anything can be done over here. But sometimes it's been directed to the right people. Me. Hi, Les, do you grow your own fruit and veg in the garden? I don't know. I grew a few lettuces and tomatoes and cucumbers and things like that. And now we've got a couple of fruit trees. We have got 3 different types of banana trees. We've got a lime tree. So not really. I probably will get into a little bit more gardening. I like the hydroponics when I did the hydroponics, and grow my own stuff. But to be honest, at the minute, I'm just rushed off my feet to actually do anything. My days are very, very full of everything that I'm doing. And like I said before, I don't know how I managed to fit work in when I'm retired. I've got all the time in the world, but I'm busy every single day. So yeah, I'd like to grow a few more vegetables, and we've got a bit of fruit. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, at the minute, I've got the filtration system to sort out. That might take a week. I'm going to do a little bit more on solar as an emergency backup, because now we're in rainy season. The electrics, every time there's a big storm, the electrics will go off. I've been around other people's houses sorting their electrical problems out and sorting my friend's visa. I've just come back from a few days in Wahin where we did a video on assisted living. That's sort of taken off, and I've got lots of questions and answers for that type of thing. And hopefully there's a couple more things in the pipeline for that. So again, it's full. Videos, I've got loads of videos, and I've still got some videos that I still haven't edited yet. So that takes time, doing the videos. So fruit and veg, it's so cheap at the market anyway. And time, it's the time to do everything. But it's nice to eat your own fruit and veg. I'm looking forward to the bananas when the bananas come up, because the 3 different types of bananas, so the tastes are very, very different. Okay, let's have a look. 2,000 milligrams of magnesium glycinate is better. It's more bioavailable. K2, MK7 milligrams per day. Reduces, that's the one, arterial plaque. 3% over 4 months, and modulates insulin, works with the body to lose weight. Yeah, so the K2, it's got loads and loads of advantages to it. Now the magnesium glycinate, compared to the citrate. The citrate is supposed to um, make you go to the toilet a little bit easier than the glycinate, and the absorption rates are about the same. Now, I don't have a problem with that really, but with the keto diet, you either have one or the other. You either have or a subject to talk about on the YouTube, going to the toilet for your number twos. But with the keto diet, you can either be bunged up or you can have diarrhea. So I've chose for the um, magnesium citrate because I go the opposite way, get bunged up. So at least by this one, it should loosen everything up and make the bowels function a little bit better. But yeah, the K2, I've just ordered that, so hopefully that should come in the next week or two from Lazada. Lazada sell everything. Brilliant. Okay, Les, what are the implications of overstaying on a 30-day visa? You'll be on overstay. So for every day over that period, you're going to be fined 500 baht. And I think once you've overstayed for 2 weeks, you're going to get a red mark on your passport. So, but there's people been here on overstay for 10 years and have been caught. But one day you will get caught, and it's not worth it. It's much easier to go and spend 1,900 baht and go and get your visa extended and then do a couple of visa runs, or go through the process of getting a retirement visa if you want to stay here for much longer. But you sort of cutting your own throat by not abiding by the laws here. So it's easier to abide the law than to go against it, because otherwise everything's working against you. And if you like this place, that's the last thing you want to do. So yeah, the laws are there. Abide by the laws and you'll be no problems whatsoever. Yes, magnesium is very good as a calcium. I try to eat 2 a day. I watch a lot of Tom Bilyeu about fasting. Very interesting. Yeah, fasting is a wonderful thing. Hi Les, how's it going? Only just got back. Did you get me beetroot? I asked for beetroot. I love beetroot. And the allotments, I loved allotments. My dad used to have an allotment when we lived in South Bank, Skipper's Lane. And just the potatoes, my dad used to grow all his own fruit and vegetables as well. And the potatoes and the smell of the soil and the vegetables, and the beetroot, when he used to cook the beetroot, we used to eat it raw. And then when it was cooked, beetroot was one of my favorite things. I could just eat it out the pickled beetroot, cabbages and lettuces. Yeah, allotment. It's a nice place. It's a good man escape cave, is an allotment, because women don't like allotments. It's a man thing. So yeah, very good with the allotments. Yeah, yeah, it's going okay, thank you. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. Right, let's have a look. Les, you need to get back to work for a rest. Yep. Let me think about that for a nanosecond. No. Not sure if you answered this question. Is there a dating website over there for professionals? I would prefer to date a professional woman, i.e. a doctor, a lawyer, etc. Now, I did talk about this. Yeah, I did mention it at the beginning of the video. I said I was going to talk about it a little bit later on. And for those people that might have just come into it, I'll answer this question now because you've asked the question. And forgive me for those people who've heard this before, but I'll sort of give a brief version of it. So dating a professional, a lawyer or a dentist or a doctor, something like that. Now, I don't know. I only know 2 wealthy people in Thailand. And this guy that I'm going to talk about, I was introduced to him. And he's a very wealthy man, and he's got several businesses all over the world, and he knows his stuff. So he lives in the best hotels, he eats in the best restaurants, and he travels the world, and he goes to various functions where he meets well-educated women in Thailand. And again, I talked about 15, 20 minutes over this. So the shortened version is that he's got enough money and he has asked them, I'll take care of you. Leave your job. Come traveling around the world with me. Come do this and that and the other. And he's got, and to be honest with you, these girls have said to him, no, I'm not, because it's took me years to get to this position. And if I give up this and went with you, you could be gone tomorrow and I'd lose my job and I'd lose my security. So, no, I'm not going to give up to come live with you. They live together as a couple, but then she's working 5 or 6 days a week with her own income and her own independence. And this guy, who was a multimillionaire, he doesn't have to work because he does all these businesses. It's self-funding, if you like. So he can travel anywhere he wants. But the girl that he's with, this highly educated girl, chooses not to leave her job or give up her own independence to be with him, because what she says, you could be gone tomorrow where my job, I can't get that job back if I leave. So his answer to this, he much prefers the bar girls, because the bar girls can, at the drop of a hat, click of a finger, pack a bag and go anywhere that you want to go with them. They're fun to be with. They might not be as educated as the lawyer and things like that, but his explanation that they're much more happier in themselves, because in Thailand, people are happy with what they have, where they are. They don't have to be educated. They don't have to be high so people. Majority type, and that's what I've got to say. This is what I like about people, that a poor person told me or showed me that they were much happier than I was when I had me 4 jobs and me 3 houses and things like that. They were happy with nothing compared to me, who I thought I was trying to get everything and climb the social ladder. So he much prefers the bar girls because they're much more fun to be with. They can leave at the drop of a hat, go anywhere you want, and he doesn't date the wealthy people or the wealthy girls now, because none of them will give up. And he wants to travel. He wants to be with them. He can be with them living in an apartment in Bangkok, but that's as far as it goes. They might get a week's worth of holidays a year if they're lucky, and only 1 day off or possibly 2 days off on a weekend, and that's it. And he said, I've retired. He said, I don't want to live in an apartment all the time with the most beautiful, talented girl where I can go with a bar girl. And he said they're beautiful, wonderful, can speak good English. So he can pick, he can cherry pick. He's not fat, ugly, or old either. So that was his explanation in a nutshell. So, but it's up to you. I mean, but I know other guys that with teachers and with nurses who are working full time who also won't give up their jobs because they're living with a foreigner. So this is the problem that you may find. You might get a beautiful or well-educated person, but what you're going to do, because they're not going to give up their jobs, their security, because you might be gone tomorrow, unless you can give them financial security that they don't have to work for the rest of their life. But that'll be a few million baht in the bank, that's for sure, that you can give them to say, listen, they're 20 million baht. This will take care of you for the rest of your life. You don't have to work anymore. How many people are going to do that? So in a nutshell, that's your answer. Again, the second time, 2 bites of that cherry. And I hope that was satisfactory. But it's up to you. If you want somebody that's highly educated, they're out there, that's for sure. But they're also looking for highly educated and wealthy people also. Right, there's a big clamp down on visas at the moment. Excellent YouTube channel for health is Doric. Yeah, I watched Eric Berg. In fact, he was probably one of the first people that actually got me onto the keto diet. There's a few of them that I've watched, but Eric Berg, he does all sorts of things. He's a wizard. He's got a mind of information. Les, I've got beetroot in the. Oh well, yeah. Send it over. although I believe that beetroot isn't good for keto. Apparently, anything that grows under the ground isn't good for keto. Anything that grows above the ground is okay for keto. such as your greens and your things like that. Now, I've always liked my vegetables. I've always had uh, every vegetable that you can imagine. I love it. But my wife doesn't like vegetables at all, or salads. She just doesn't. What I do, I'll just eat all vegetables. Uh, let's have a look. Okay, there's a little bit of a chat going on. I'm going to try to date a career woman. Yeah, well, good luck with it. You know, only seeing the missus for once a week sounds ideal to me. Now, okay, I'll tell you a little story. I dated a professional. I met her on the internet. She was a language school teacher, um, and she used to teach English to the Cambodians. So the Cambodians had a better chance of getting a job in Thailand because they could speak English in restaurants and workplaces and things like that. So she was a full time language school teacher. So she only got Saturday and Sunday off. And we went out, and I used to take her to work, and then I used to come home, do my stuff, and then pick her up on the evening time. So she worked from 9 o'clock until 6 o'clock on the evening. So we only had a few hours on each evening that we used to go for local eating and things like that. And I mean, I did a video about this because she was one of the girls. She was a really, really nice girl, but she was a fantastic cook as well. She could just knock anything up, and it just tasted scrumptious, you know, lovely stuff. So she said she wanted to be a chef, and she had this opportunity to go to a school, and the teacher was one of the chefs that used to cook for the king. So he highly educated, well known chef that used to cook for the king of Thailand. But she said I'd have to leave this job to do it because it's a full-time thing and I don't get paid for it. So I'm always one for helping other people out. So I said, listen, I said, if you want to go into follow your dreams, I said, I'll give you whatever you earned as a language school teacher. And she was on 13,000 baht a month working as a school teacher. I said, yeah, okay, 13, it's nothing to me. Yes. So she left the school and she joined this organization that taught her how to cook for 6 months. It was, and I paid the 13,000 baht a month just so she could learn to cook. And some of the meals that she used to cook, just wow, fantastic. But she was naturally good at it as well. So then, after the 6 month period, she got a job with a Dusat Thani in Pattaya. So now she was going from working 5 days a week in this cooking school to working 6 days a week in the Dusat Thani, still not getting paid from the Dusat Thani. And that was going to be for another 6 months. So she was at the Dusat Thani for 2 months. And then after that, they offered her a place in Nevada, America, to go and work in Nevada on a 6 months where she would get paid. And she'd learn that she went into like the pastry chef, the soups, and the different locations. So she was learning everything. So she came home all excited this particular day. Les, I've been offered this place in Nevada, America. Come with me, come with me. I said, no. I said, I don't want to go to America. I don't want to go to Nevada. I said, I love Thailand. I said, I want to live in Thailand. So I said, go and follow your dreams, go to Nevada. And I said, but that's the end of me and you. So sadly, we finished, but we discussed it. And I was happy the fact that she changed her life and she's doing something, because she could always go back to the language school because she was good at English. But she went and followed her dream. And then I heard a few months later, she was with an American guy. And I believe now she's married this American guy. So that whole thing changed her life. But that was a professional girl. But I got sick of not being with somebody, spending the whole day on my own. And so that's the problem with being a professional girl. Some people are like it, but why do you want to be with a partner that you can't wait to get away from? If you can't wait to get away from them, then you shouldn't be with them in the first place, is my opinion of that. But yeah, go for it. If you want a professional person, go and find a professional person. But I think with a professional person brings its own problems as well. But that's up to you. But best wishes for whichever way you go. Let's have a look. Uh, okay, that's gone up there. I missed that bit now. I plan to move every 3 to 4 months, so date a doctor in the north, a lawyer in Bangkok, and a dentist. Well, that's just never going to happen. They're not going to date you for 2 or 3 months or something like that. It sounds good, but can you speak Thai? Where are you going to meet these people? Do you go around the social ladder or the social areas that the doctors, dentists, and lawyers are going to be in? It's very difficult to meet these highly educated people because if they sniff for 1 second, you're not going to be there for long term. They ain't going to date you because they're looking for stability as well. So I wish you the best of luck in trying to do what you want to do, but I think you're fighting a losing battle. All right, Dr. Eric Berg now has 10 million subscribers. So I'm only 9,200,000 subscribers behind him. Talking of which, if anybody wants to add to the subscribers, I'm almost at 8,200 now. And if you like this content, give me a thumbs up. I've got 45 at the minute and I've got 54 people watching. So it'd be nice to have a few more thumbs up and a couple of more subscribers. I'm going for the 10 million with Dr. Berg. It might be a few years before I get there. But he's a clever guy and he's well knowledgeable. Oh, thanks very much. I've got a couple more thumbs up. Thank you very much for extra thumbs up. It all helps with the algorithm for YouTube. Okay, basically you want to date the NHS. Yeah, well, yeah. Perhaps a professional will be more westernized. Depends what you are looking for, mate. I don't. Yeah. But I've got to say that the girl that I did date, she's the only. How can I put it? You don't want a Western girl because, for me, the Westerners have lost it. They're all possessions, and if I had to go back to England, my likability, if you like, or ranking is very, very low because I haven't got a house, I haven't got a big income, and I'm just on my pension. So all the ladies are going to look at me. I'm a 62-year-old old man with nothing. So how high am I up at that social ladder? But here in Thailand, because I've got a pension, the fact that I've got a pension, social, acceptable by a Thai person, I'm up there because I've got stability. I've got a pension. But in England, I'm not worth a candle. So, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's just the way the Western ladies look upon it. Let's have a look. I like spending time on my own, but not completely on my own. I've always been very independent and hate being around the same person for extended periods of time. That includes friends and families. Yeah, I'll tell you another story now with this, talking about being on your own, things like that. When I lived in Jomtien, I went to a couple of expat meetings, the expats club, and then there was another one. It was a private expats club, and there were doctors, lawyers, dentists, pilots, helicopter pilots, very professional people. And there was one guy there who used to chair the meeting, and he was from New York, and he was a professional. And he said, I got divorced. And he said, she did me head in New York. And he said, I lost millions of dollars through the divorce and things like that. He said, and then a friend of mine asked me to come to Thailand. So I came to Thailand, not knowing anything about Thailand. And he said, I will never, ever, ever marry another girl. He said, I like being on my own. And he said, if I want company, he said, I'll go to various bars in Pattaya, and he named Soy 6. Now, those people who know Soy 6 in Pattaya know what I'm on about. And he said he'll just go and pick wherever he wants, do the deed, and then that physical relationship is up. He's got several girls that he talks to around the bars and things like that. He's a very social guy, but he will not have another woman living with him, and he much prefers being on his own and doing exactly what he wants to do, and nobody yaks him in the ear. And he's very happy at that. And he's a professional guy who wants to do this. So yeah, horses for courses. It's your life at the end of the day. You pick whatever you want to do and go and do it. Okay. Yep. Mr. Who, smash that like. Oh, 53 now. We've gone up from 40 odd to 53. Thanks very much. And we've gone up to 60 viewers at the minute. Thank you very much for all those people who are watching and just tuned in. Alex, could you scroll up and try and read the important question, please, from Phil Smith? Okay, let's have a look. Is that from you, Phil? Oh. No, for some reason I can't scroll up. All right, Phil Smith. How far up was it, Phil? No, hello, I can't see him. I got as far back to the allotment, so that's quite a fair way back. Dr. Berg, basically NHS. No, I can't find it. My laptop is sticking for some reason. It's not going up and down properly. Oh, I don't want to delete anybody. So we've got to. My last question was basically you want to date the NHS, perhaps a professional will. That's stuck now. I don't know what I've done. So if it's just put the question again, sorry, or if you want to send me a personal thing, I'll give you my email. 58 at yahoo.com. Oh no, that won't even go down now. What's happened? I'll be chat stuck. I've been touching things. Top chat. Stopped. For some reason it stopped. Hopefully it'll just kick itself back in a minute. It'll just think about it. But my chats have stopped. Looks like my video stopped a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. So I put me Leslie Pearson 58 at yahoo.com if you want to send me a question with regard to that. Me chat has just stopped now. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Computer says no. Okay, here we go. Right. It came to now because I wanted a more simple life, so I wouldn't want someone who is materialistic. Agree with what you say. Each to their own. Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of the Thais are materialistic as well. They're sort of getting the Western ways, wanting, material wise. Now, I've got to say, my wife is very unmaterialistic, and if anything, it's me that spends the money, not my wife. Because I want all the shiny toys and things like that. My wife is very, very easygoing, which is a wonderful thing. But it's such an easy life living here. Plenty of, in fact, they had a nurses' night on Soy Six on Monday, I think it was. Just the whole bar full of nurses. Okay, can you get a bank account on a visit visa or your retirement visa. Now you can get a bank account on a tourist visa, yes, but you have to go through an agent. Um, and by going through an agent, that's 5,000 baht. But they can open you up a bank account, that's for sure. But gone are the days where you could just walk into the bank and open a bank account yourself. You know, that's a lot to do with the Ruskies. The Ruskies have caused lots of problems with regard to the visas and opening bank accounts and money laundering, and just goes on. But that's reading between the lines of what's happening with the Ruskies over here. Right, so that's the bank account. Phil just asked the question again. Yeah, sorry, Phil. I've scrolled up and for some reason it just blocked all of the things, so I can't find what your question was. But I've sent you a. If it's a personal question, just send me an email, lesliebeeson58@yahoo.com, and I'll answer wherever you want. Just wondering how you can show your monthly payment to apply for a retirement visa. Well, your monthly payment comes into your bank account, your Thai bank account, which is the Bangkok bank is the best bank to use as far as putting your payments in is concerned. And then if you transfer it over, well, you can do a number of things. You can do an international transfer bank to bank, which is the most expensive. You can do a international transfer with Western Union, which then it'll show as an international transfer, or you can use Wise is what I use, which I suggest because you get a really, really good rate. So you go from your bank to Wise, and Wise pays it into your Thai bank account. And if you scroll to the bottom of the reason for this money, then you'll come up with a phrase that says to maintain funds for long-term stay in Thailand. And if you click that, then that will show as an international transfer from your home country into Thailand. And then the Thai immigration are happy with that. So that's my suggestion of what you should do. And that's easy enough to do. Yeah, 45 baht to the pound. Yeah, it's 45 baht, 30 something. So it's on its way back up again. But before Brexit, it was 50, and then it went down to 37. And that was very difficult to live with at 37. But now we're coming back up to 45. And with the rises I've been getting with the fire brigade pension, I'm back up to now, as far as the money's concerned, what I was before we left Brexit. So thank you very much, Brexit, for stuffing everybody in the world who relied on exchange for currency. You know, at the worst stage, I was £380 a month worse off because of Brexit. Anyway, that's another story. But we're getting back up there now, slowly but very surely. Is it working now? Yeah, it's going down now there, so I'm not going to touch it. So I'll just leave it. If you put your question on there, I'll read your question. But if not, just send me a private email. State pension age in the UK is going up to 68 if you're born before 1970. Yeah, I'm 66 and 3 months when I get mine, so I've got another 3 years, 2 months to wait. August, September. No, 3 years, 3 months to wait before I get mine. And the fact that I'm living in Thailand, when I claim my pension, it's frozen at whatever rate it was when I take it. But like me, there's always another workaround, and I've done another video, and I can't put it up there because I haven't got that way to put it up. But I've done a video. If you go to a reciprocal country for 185 days and tell the pensions department that you're in that reciprocal country, and the reciprocal country near here is the Philippines, you go there for 185 days and they will pay you the new rate whilst you're there. And then as long as you're there for more than 185 days, you will get the full rate also. But I've done a video on that. And reciprocal countries, the two cheapest countries are the Philippines and Turkey. So you could go, if you wanted to, you could go and spend 3 months in Turkey, 3 months in England, visit the family and friends, and you get the new rise because you've had 185 days in a reciprocal country. And for those people that haven't had a rise for a few years, certainly with this year's 10.1%, that's a big increase. and likelihood that next year it's going to be another 6 or 7%. So just in them 2 years, your pension has gone up 16% potentially. Worthwhile looking into. Yeah, fancy having to work until he's 70 years old. No, thank you. Yeah, they keep shifting the goalposts. Yeah, and at school, the kids are at school that are going to work until they're 70. Now, fancy retiring at 70 years old. In other words, your employers and the government have had the best years out of you, and it's just like, if you left work and died the following day, the government would be over the moon, because then they don't pay you anything of your pension, and your work has gotten all the best years out of you. So your golden years, it might be a golden year, not golden years. So that's why I say retire when you can, for as long as you can. My pension's 270 days away. Retirement can't come soon enough. I will be 66. Should have been 65, but they moved the goalpost. Yeah, 277 days. Oh, good luck for that. That's. I'll be happy when I get down to 277 days. I will be counting the days then, because that just opens so many more doors for me as far as travel wise is concerned. Anyway, so I'm looking forward. I'm not looking forward to being 66, but I'm looking forward to the extra here, maybe 35, 40,000 baht a month. That'll come in very handy. Right. Tested several different means of moving cash into Thailand. Settled on Wise as the fastest and the cheapest. Yeah, I've tried many ways and I've talked to many people. So yeah, Wise is the best. I'm from Holland, 64. Pension comes in 67 and a half years. The younger you are, the more it goes up. Yeah. Pension wise, the UK pension is terrible as far as, income. The Europeans get a lot more than what we do. So we need an agent to get a bank account before we apply for a retirement visa. No, if you go to an agent and say you want to retire for a visa, they can also sort your bank account out for you as well. It's a bit like a chicken and egg situation over here. You need the visa to get a bank account. You need a bank account to get a visa, if you follow my drift. But if you go to an agent can get your bank account opened and also get your visa if you don't want to bother with the paperwork. But if you want to do it yourself, you pay the 5,000 baht, get yourself a visa, put your 65,000 baht in for 2-month periods, and then you can go to immigration and they'll sort all the paperwork out, because you're showing the means that you've got 65,000 baht a month. And on your first visa application, that's all you need, just to show that. If you are a US citizen or deposit at Thai bank, you have to physically go to the bank to withdraw your money. Integrally talked about it. Well, that's America. It's a little bit different to what we do. Right, but I know people who get the Social Security paid directly into a Thai bank account, and they've just got the Thai bank account and just use it as normal with a debit card or pay bills through the online banking. Les, why don't you just use a UK address and transfer your pension to your UK bank account? I'm registered at my sister's house in the UK, and my pension will go to my bank account, my UK bank account. So that'll happen in 3 years' time. So I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But also, even if I didn't have a UK bank account, my pension could be transferred over to Thailand, no problem. Lotto retirement strategist. Why do you have a physically go to a bank? They don't. I mean, that's the banks are going to be done away with eventually. Everybody won't have cash. There's also going to be everything done online. That's the new way of looking at things. Right, renew retirement visa. Non-O need to show 12-month statements. That's correct. Bangkok Bank, they want 5 days notice for the statement. Immigration want the statement dated same day I go. Can I get 6-month statement twice a year? Yeah, you can do that. You can get 6 months twice a year. It all amounts to the same. Now I've just got my 12-month statement. 4 days it took for the Bangkok Bank to send me it, and it cost me 200 baht. And then I've also got a letter of guarantee to say that the statement has been printed and produced by the Bangkok Bank, which is another 100 baht, another money-making exercise, but that's what immigration wants. No, you can have the same. I think it's valid for a month, your statement. It's impossible to get it on the day that you go for to go and get your visa renewed. They do have time frames, but what you're supposed to do on the day that you go and get your retirement visa, you you make a deposit into your bank and then or draw it out, as long as it shows that there's been a financial transaction on the day that you apply for your visa. So you just get your bank book updated, put 100 baht in, and then your bank book gets updated, and that shows the immigration that on that day a transaction has been made. He didn't cover that. Sumpit. He didn't cover that. Best to do your due diligence to learn if there is a workaround. I'm going to use a Schwab, a capital one. Oh, I don't know. I missed that. I must have missed that question or whatever. Yeah. ATMs are expensive. If you want to draw money out of an ATM from your home, it's 220 baht a time. So that's like, for English money, that's £5 for every time you want to draw some money out of an ATM, which is not the cheapest way of doing things over here. I spoke to SS here in the US, and they said they can direct deposit into a Thailand bank without fees at the market price. Yes, there's a couple of Americans I know that get their Social Security paid directly into a Thai bank account. UK pension is only 39% of the average salary. Australian has the best at 91%, but I don't know what the rate of tax they have to pay. Yeah, but I think the union, the pension in Australia is means tested. Like, if you don't need a pension, they won't give you a pension. That's as far as I understand. And is it something that you've got to be there for 2 years before you can draw it anyway? So if you've got lots of money, you don't get a state pension. That's my understanding, or that's what an Australian guy told me the other day. Whether it's right or wrong or not, I don't know. Can move money around via app. I've recently made face recognition needed for any transfer over 50k or above. Due to money laundering concerns, it's harder to get the bank account. Yeah, that's to do with the Ruskies. The Ruskies have caused loads of problems, although that's not widely talked about, but the Ruskies are certainly spending a lot of money in Thailand at the minute because they can't use their credit cards and things like that. So everything they're dealing with is cash. All right. Having a UK address means your pension won't be frozen. You'll still get the triple lock increase each year. Yeah, no, that's wrong, because the guy that I spoke to, you can have a UK address, but you still have to live in the UK or a reciprocal country for 185 days of each financial year. So the minute you move out, and you're supposed to inform them that you're not living in the UK, or you are living in the UK for that 185 days, and your pension is frozen. If they find out that you haven't informed them, then that's fraud, and then they can recoup the overpayments made to you. Because I asked all of these questions because many people, I've just used my sister's address or my brother's address. I've still got a house in the UK. If you don't physically live in the UK for them 185 days of the year, therefore your pension will be frozen at that rate. Get away with it if you can, whilst you can, but bearing in mind also that the pension department have big pockets, legal pockets, and could take you to court and take all of the money back that they've overpaid you. So is it worth the risk? That is correct. Double check what process is removed, maybe integrity legal. Integrity legal, they're good. Benjamin, I listen to a lot of his ways, but also he knocks YouTubers, and he's knocked me a couple of times, but I've got no problem what he's saying. He says I'm bending the law, and the Thai people, or the Thai immigration, are clever. Yeah, but he's a lawyer. Does he not bend the law also? Does he not provide people with visas that have been bent, or the rules have been bent? I fear not. So in some ways, Benjamin also is a part of the system that manipulates the law and manipulates things to get what he wants or what other people desire. So Benjamin does exactly the same as other people. Should I put it like that? He's a nice guy. I've spoken to him a couple of times. He's a nice guy, and he's got a lot of good information. And I would say use a lawyer if you're going to obviously buy a house or get a 30-year lease and things like that, where lawyers' advice is essential. But lawyers, I've never found a lawyer that I can trust 100%. They're all as bent as a 9-bob note, but they take money from you legally to bend the law. But I had a lot to do with lawyers in my 3 divorces, and I didn't like any of them. Yeah, just like what I said with the Australian pension, means tested. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, there's a bit of conversation going on there between various people. So, 2 hours, 35 minutes, 65 people, 58 likes. So, is there any more people in the room that like the content of the video and want to give me a few more thumbs up? It all helps the analytics. And for those people in a different climate, such as UK, at the minute, we're at 5:30 p.m. and we're at 31.4. That's the temperature here at the minute. And the humidity is 73%, which is quite high, isn't it? You know, but still, we've got grey clouds, a little bit overcast, but it's nice. But it's nice here. What more can I say? It beats Redcar Beach in the UK. Let's have a look. Good thing with inflation being high in the UK, my company pension went up in line with the rate, and it is September 10%. Assume yours did too. Yeah, it did. What a fantastic rise I got this year with the fire brigade pension. I got 10.1% increase, which is good, but that still doesn't compensate for the 5 or 6 years that I've lost 300 odd pounds per month because of Brexit. And you know, 300 on average, if you say £300 a month for 5 years, that's an awful lot of money. So I was happy to see that the government are not going to penalise public sector workers as they have done for many years. They're going to give them the rise between 5 and 7%, because if they did that, it would be a winter of discontent. You know, I remember the 2008, the financial crash, and everybody said, "Oh, we're all in it together. We all have to, you know, help to recover." But it wasn't the average working person that put us in that crap. It was the bankers and the financial investors. It's that, and then we bail the banks out. Honest, everyday, hard-working people, and we all paid the price for that. And we paid the price for that for 14 years now, and we're still no better off. And we're still saying, you know, we shouldn't be asking for salaries that are higher than inflation or equal to inflation, because it's going to cause inflation. But watching the news the other day, I mean, how disgusting is this? I mean, an MP is on about 80 and 90,000 pounds a year anyway, and there's just been a list brought out with the top earning MPs. And the average MP on their second job is £177 per hour for the second jobs. I never ever got that in my first job, let alone a second job. And Barmy Boris was the top earner of the MPs, earning £21,000 per hour on some of his talks. And Liz Truss, who was the shortest prime minister in history, is on £17,000 per hour for being able to. What's she so good about that people are going to pay 17,000? She brought the country to its bloody knees, and yet the government is saying you can't have the inflation bust and rise. You know, you've got to keep down. You got to keep down, because you are going to make inflation higher as they get £177 per hour for the second job. I'll say no more about that. But as I say, just the everything in the UK is do as I say, not as I do. Greedy, money grabbing, noses in the trough for as long as they can, and they're going to take out as much as they can because they know they've lost the next election. So it's just grab anything what they can get whilst they can. And then the Labour government, in my mind, are just ready to put the snouts back in the trough. Politics. But seeing it from over here is totally different because I'm happy over here because my money goes further over here and I can live a less stressful lifestyle over here on the money that I get from the UK. And I'm forever grateful for being in the right job at the right time, which provides me a pension. But I paid into it, so I should be getting something out of it as well. It hasn't been handed to me on a plate. In 2007, it was 72 baht. I know. I said when I came over here, when I retired, it was 52, 53. And it was just like, wow. And when I first came in 2002, it was 60 baht. It was just like everything was for free at 60 baht to the pound. And now at 45, I'm happy with that. If it never goes up above 45, I can live with that. But it'd be nice if it made its dizzy heights back up to 50. But will that ever happen? I don't think so. Because every time something is said wrong or bad about the UK, the part always goes down. And it's up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. Right, question. What if you get dementia and you are not able to apply for an extension with a non-immigrant type visa? Well then, if I get dementia, because my friend's got dementia, and that's all taken care of him, as long as you satisfy the legal, not the legal, the financial requirements of living here in Thailand, that can be done for you. An agent could do it for you, and it's an agent that does my friend. They do all the 90 days reporting for him. They do the yearly renew of the visa. So yeah, them things can be done. And before you get to that stage, what you can actually get is as a lawyer. If you need money, so I've just been bit by an ant. Ooh. Yeah. So anything, it can still be done. I mean, the assisted living home that I went to down in Hua Hin, when I did the video there, there were two people there with dementia, and you know, I asked that was one of the questions that I got asked, whether, you know, all your legal stuff can be done if you've got dementia, and yes, it can. And Thailand's a wonderful place for that because everything is possible here. Everything can be done, no matter what problem you have, can be sorted out one way or another. Yeah, getting agents are wonderful things. Baht dropping due to the political scene at the moment. Can't see it changing. Well, yeah. I mean, the political scene, but the political scene also goes on in the UK, because every time something is mentioned, something's bad in the UK, the pound loses against the baht. So the baht has its own, in some ways, with a political goings on at the minute, because there's a new government being elected, and yeah, that should cause the baht to go down in value because of the political unrest. But that counteracts if we get bad news from England also. So we live in a world at the minute that there's no stability. You know, the war in Russia and Ukraine caused loads of problems. COVID caused loads of problems. You know, somebody sneezes and it causes a problem. So stability, you've just got to look upon it and just, it is what it is. Do the best with what you've got and manage, because there's nothing else you can do about it, because we're only small pawns in the big playing field. I just hope and pray their plan to get rid of cash never happens. Cash freedom, say no to digital currency. Yeah. No, but it costs you money here to put cash in the bank, but you can transfer from bank to bank and it's free using the app on your mobile phone or your banking app. But somebody asked me to pay 34,000 baht into a bank account, which I did, and it cost me £1 to put money into a bank account. Yeah, but that's over here in Thailand. I mean, the pound isn't an awful lot, and anyway, but it's just the fact that over in England you can pay into the bank and you can take money from the cash machines and it's all free. But over here, if you pay money into a bank, it costs you money. Also, my wife, she took 17,000 baht in 1 baht and 2 bahts and 5 bahts, um, and that cost her 100 baht for them to put 17,000 because, and they never counted it, never weighed it. They just sort of took her word for it. That was all in individual 100 baht bags. But 17,000, it cost her 100 baht for them to put some coins into a bank. It is what it is. A US dollar 34.59. 45.11. Oh, it's got, well, yeah, weekends, it always, funny enough, it always goes down on the weekend because people profit take on a Friday, and it's usually a Tuesday or a Wednesday is the midweek rate that you get, and that's favourable because um, on a Friday it is cash taken, and on the Monday people are starting the business again. Dengue fever, Super 8. Ben, Roz, hi Leslie, hello, thanks for joining me, thanks for visiting. Oh, we've got 66 people in the house now and 69 thumbs up. Thanks very much. For all those people that just come, if you like it, give me another thumbs up for the new people that have just come online. Every little thumb helps the YouTube algorithm. I missed 3 points before the digital currency. I've just seen something about dengue fever. Go. Dementia, I mentioned. What if a dimension not apply for an extension? No, yeah, that's been done. Okay, Les. So you're saying midweek is best time to transfer normally? Well, it for what I do. I mean, my salary comes in at the first of the month. But if the first falls in on a Saturday or Sunday, the money comes in on a Friday. So Friday is usually the day that people cash in and get everything. So you get a bad rate. So if it's on the Monday, I usually wait until the Tuesday. But I have like a figure in my mind, and 45 is a fantastic figure. At the minute, somebody said it's 45.11. So if I was getting paid on Monday and it's 45, I'll jump at 45.11 because I've got 45 in my mind, and anything above that is a bonus. So swings and roundabouts, really. At the end of the day, it's not a lot. I think with every 1 baht rise, it's 1,250 baht for every 1 baht rise in 44, 45, 46, or whatever. Because I draw over about £1,250 a month. Okay, Les, I asked you if you worry about malaria or dengue fever or anything like that. No, I don't. Thankfully, I don't get bit by many mosquitoes. My wife gets bitten in like Koh Chang. We went to Koh Chang for a small holiday, and my wife was bitten to death. In fact, we didn't go out the room because she was that bad one day with all the bites she had on her legs, and I didn't have a single, although the must still bite me, but I had no big lumps, as sometimes you get big lumps on your legs or your arms. I don't worry about that, no. I've lived here for 11 years, and I dare say 1 or 2 of them years I've been unwell, but I don't know what's caused it, and it might be a bit of a mosquito infection or a mosquito bite or whatever. But I've got to say, I've never really been ill in the 11 years that I've lived here. A friend of mine had dengue fever. He was quite ill, but I think if I got that ill, I'd just go to the hospital anyway. But no, I don't worry about that. Nor do I worry about rabies. Rabies is still quite prevalent in this country. But if you get bitten by any dog or scratched by a cat or a dog or a monkey, anything like that, you go to the hospital and get your rabies shots for sure. because you never know. But again, with the rabies, there's two guys that I've watched. One guy in Bangkok, he got bitten by a soy dog, and he ended up paying 21,000 baht for his treatment. And another guy who lives up near Udantan, he was bit by a soy dog, and he paid about 500 or 600 baht for the same treatment, rabies injections. So don't go to a private hospital. Go to a public hospital, and you'll find it's much cheaper. What with the face recognition? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And Les, I'm here on the farm on Isle of Man, busy breaking some pallets, listening to you. I retired from paid work 8 years ago, but I'm more busy now than ever. I love your chats. Thanks very much. Okay, thanks very much. Enjoy your pallet breaking. Mr. Who, man, Bonner, they've done it already in Nigeria. Their economy crashed and had riots all over it. I mean, there's riots everywhere, isn't there? Any excuse, there's riots. Look at the ones that have just been happening in France. You can't. Okay, it was a bad thing that the policeman shot, but if anybody who's watched the whole video, not just the cut version of it, the guy actually drove away, and the policeman was up against the wall. And for me, I could see that this guy's life potentially was in danger. He only had to veer, and he would have crushed him against the wall. So, yeah, but did that warrant all that looting that went on in all the shops and places in France? It's sort of like America, any excuse, and there's looting and going on, and it's just an exercise, and people go and steal whatever they want. Now that's got to be wrong also. Les Mozzies don't like Marmite, neither do I. I don't like Marmite. Marmite is either you like it or you hate it, and I hate it. I don't like it at all. So I think personally, it's because I've always been on the chunky side. If you have to get through this fat before you get to the blood, and the Mozzies must be health conscious as well because they don't like fat. So if they don't like fat before I get to the blood, it's like so maybe that's why I don't get bit. So if you want to come live in Thailand and don't get bit by the mosquitoes, be fat. Because the Mozzies are going to get the fat before they get to the blood. Who knows? No, but there is definitely, with research that's been done, there's a aroma that some people send off to the mosquitoes, and the mosquitoes like that aroma better than other people. So I'm lucky. I've got that I don't really get bitten much by mosquitoes, but I do. But I do get bitten, but they don't become infected or nasty or bad. Okay. Is it Mexico? Mexico, yeah. Again, Mexico is a lovely, cheap place to live, but at the end of the day, it is more violent than it is here. I was breaking pallets yesterday, making a fence out of them. Yeah, I used to make furniture out of pallet wood. When I worked for the probation service, I used to take people who used to break pallets up as something to do. And then we used to make little tables and chairs, little stools and things like that out of pallet wood. Pallet wood is lovely. Again, when I had my little place in France, I used to collect old pallets and burn them on my log burning stove. UK footprint. Any advantage in maintaining UK address for the NHS or state pension advantages? Now, people say yes, people say no. People say, well, the government says, if now that I've left the UK, I'm not entitled to NHS treatment, emergency treatment. Everybody is entitled to emergency treatment in the UK, but as far as long-term care, I'm not entitled to UK NHS treatment for at least 2 years, and you can lose that entitlement by just leaving the UK for 6 months. And a lot of people say, oh, they won't know, but in reality, we live in a state like the rest of the world lives in the state where we're all traceable by our passports. Our passports tell anybody anywhere where you are at any time. And again, we're living here, there's a TM30 we have to fill out to say where we're living. So when all's said and done, the governments are all talking to each other, And if the people who want to know where I am in England, they'll find out where I am in Thailand, because we're all traceable. So I bit the bullet, and if I'm seriously ill, like cancer or some terminal disease, I'll see my days out on the sofa here. I won't be going back to England and spending my days in a hospital or something like that, trying to add on a few more months to the inevitable, which is going to happen anyway. But that's my own sense of mind. There's certain illnesses in life that you might get an extra few months, but for me, I've had a wonderful life. I've done many more things than the average person, than the average guy has done. So I've got a head full of memories, and I'm happy. If I died tomorrow, I'd be happy. Not that I want to die tomorrow. I want to live for another 20 or 30 years. But having a head full of memories as opposed to a bank book full of zeros, I'd go with the head full of memories, because you can take the head full of memories right up to the last minute, and you can also take your bank book to the end, right up to the last minute, but then somebody's going to take the bank book off you and spend all of your money that you've got in the bank, but they'll never ever take your memories away from you. Fill your head with memories. When I die, I want to owe the bank £1, and then I know I've spent everything wisely. I don't want to leave a single pound to anybody. My wife's taken care of with insurances and things like that. So, but as far as money wise is concerned, I'm going to spend it on exactly what I want, when I want, how I want, and as much as I can. So if I owe Barclays Bank £1, when I die, I'm happy. Insects, oh yeah, insects are a nightmare here. If you are someone who gets bit a lot, normally it will be a nightmare. Malaria, etc., is more in the jungle areas. Yeah, if you live in a city, it's not too bad. I mean, like now it's 5:52 p.m. here, so now there's a couple of little mosquitoes flying about, and I've got to say at dusk time now. This is the time that the insects come around. So you have like an hour, 2 hours at the maximum where the mosquitoes at dusk and dawn. Them are the most prevalent times, and the rest of the time it's too hot, or if it's raining or things like that, you won't see them. But you just go in, and then after 2 hours, when the mosquitoes are gone, you come back out and have your drink and sit on the sofa or whatever you want to do. It's not all night, and it's not all morning, but they are there, that's for sure. Hi Les, you've got a soy dog problem in your area. Thailand has got a soy dog problem in every area. Yeah, we've got soy dogs here. The thing is that because of the Buddhist mentality, they won't kill anything. They don't like to kill anything, dogs and things like that. So the dogs, during the day, you've got no problem. But early on the morning and late on the night, when it's dark and the sun starts to go down, the dogs get a bit more energy. So if you're going across on your bicycle, which I don't do, or your motorbike, the dogs will chase you, because now they're awake and they've got a bit more energy as opposed to midday sun. So yeah, dogs chase you, and every night you can't get away from soy dogs howling and barking and whatever. It's just one of them things, you get used to it, like the cockerels 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning out the back of our house. I don't hear them now because me mind's got used to it, so you just don't hear it. Yeah, but soy dogs are everywhere. The only way you can get away from soy dogs is live on the 20th floor of a condo apartment. Right, I have a long list of vaccines that I may get specifically for SEA Cambodia hospitals. Have got good prices. I think the Pasteur Institute is well worth it. Oh, there's a mosquito, my ear. I got a bunch of injections because when I retired, we went around the world for 2 years. And by going around the world for 2 years, going to various countries, yellow fever, scarlet fever, blah, blah, whatever. There's a whole list of things. So we just got a whole list of injections. And I've never had another injection since that was 2010. And now we're in in 2023. So 13 years, I've never had any other injections, um, anti-tetanus, anything like that. But I've never really hurt myself. But if I went to the hospital with a cut or a gash or scar or something like that, then I'd have the injections if they offered any injections. Um, Infections, funny enough, infections are very hard for people to shake off here. There's two guys that I know. One's just had a motorbike accident and lost two toes, and that was like 6 weeks or so ago. And although he had two toes amputated, infection has become a problem because it's just difficult to stop the infection from spreading. So he might end up with another toe being amputated, um, but that's sad. But again, infection is infection. Let's have a look. I have a long list of the region between Thailand and Thailand, Cambodia is the most dangerous for dengue. There is a variant there that is nasty. Yeah, well, apparently Rayong last year was the biggest place or biggest province with dengue fever. So there was hundreds of people being taken to hospital with dengue fever, but thankfully, our best wishes are we're fortunate that we didn't get anything. But dengue fever can be a killer, that's for sure. So if you're feeling uncomfortable for 2 or 3 days and it carries on, go see the doctor. It's not worth risking it. But if you go to the doctors or the hospital, you're going to get an injection or some medication, even if you didn't have dengue fever. They're always going to give you something. Need to carry a Zappa taser gun for soy dog protection, 250 baht on Lazada. Yeah, but on a bicycle, yeah, I mean, you're a little bit. That's why I don't. I mean, I've never been a fitness guy anyway, so I don't really ride bicycles. But the people that I know that ride bicycles always get chased by the dogs, and they have like a squeaky thing. And me and my motorbikes, they always blare the horns because they don't know from which direction the horn's coming. And if they're in the middle of the road, somebody blaring a horn, it stops them in the tracks. It stops them from doing or trying to attack you or bite you. But I've seen a couple of people who've hit soy dogs on the motorbikes and come off worst, because then you have to go to the hospital, and the gravel rash, because they've only got flip flops and shorts on, is probably worse than getting nibbled by the dog. So you do have to take more care on motorbikes and bicycles around here, that's for sure. And walking alone when there's a lot of soy dogs, I'd walk in the opposite direction. Soy dogs, yeah. That's one of the bad things over here. Yeah, David Barker. Trouble is, loads of people over here have dogs and just let them run around outside unchecked. Cats are the same. My neighbours had to move and left cats behind. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what I've seen here, there's a couple of dogs just down the road from me used to run after motorbikes, and the guy just believes in the freedom the dog should wander around. But he had a lot of complaints about dogs chasing, motorbikes. So what they do over here in Thailand, they get a big oil container or bottles of water and just hang them around the dog's neck. So the dog can't run because it stops him from running. And then after a little while, a week or so, he'll take the oil container off, the empty container off, or the bottles of water off. Then if the dog runs after a motorbike again, he'll put it back on again. And the dog sort of learns like, oh, if I run after a motorbike, I'm running around with this great big oil can or bottles on my neck. But if I don't run after motorbikes, then nothing happens. I'm okay. So majority of times that does work. It does work. But Ploy, my wife, her dad had a dog, and no matter what he did to it, it just would not stop running after motorbike. He did everything. He braided it. He chained it up. He had oil cans on it. He did everything, but the dog never ever stopped chasing motorbikes. So eventually, yes, it was cleared the errors of his way, if you like. He never ran after another motorbike after that. Do I go to watch Muay Thai boxing live? No. I've seen it a few times in Pattaya, when we've been on the bars and stuff like that with the boxing. I'm not really into boxing or fighting or martial arts and things like that. Um, but it's available if you want to go and see it. We have a Muay Thai club just around the corner from where we live. No, it's something that boxing never interested me, and no is the answer to that. Yeah, the soy dogs can be territorial, that's for sure. But it's like the two dogs that run after motorbikes here, because they know we live here, they know the sound of our motorbike, we can drive past them and they're okay. But if you get a person with a motorbike and sidecar and they have a dog in, wow, do they go crazy because they're just barking at the other dogs. So yeah, yeah, territorial. But some foreigners can be like that as well. Um, Again, with foreigners, you get good guys and bad guys. Um, some are materialistic, some of the people that sat in the bar, keyboard warriors and things like that. You get good and bad no matter where you are. But I like to try to think that I give valuable information on what to do and what not to do. And I'll just give you one instance of this guy. Oh, mosquito. Yeah, mosquito's just gone to heaven. He's found that because I've lost weight on the keto, he wants to think, oh, some blood here. Yeah, this American guy came over here, not a lot of money. It's sort of green as grass over here. And I told him the two things that's going to get rid of all your money is women and alcohol. And sure enough, within the month, all his money had gone on alcohol and women. And he had a woman move in with him within 5 days of actually getting over here, who wet all of his money. And now all his money's gone, she's gone also. But of course, you know, oh, mosquitoes come back for another go. So yeah, if you've got little money to live on over here, it can be soon taken away by some of the nightlife and the entertainment, shall I say. You've got to be on your guard, and for like us Westerners, you come over here and it's like Pinocchio land. It's like, wow, every girl likes me. I'm a sexy man, do this and do that, and they're so nice to you. But they're nice to you so they can press the ATM buttons, and by pressing the ATM buttons, you know, their win-win situation. But for those guys who are not used to it in their own Western countries, such as America and England and Australia, it's just nice. It's just nice when somebody's nice to you, and really, really nice to you, and you think, oh, this person likes me, but they like the money that's in your wallet. So you just have to be very careful over here, and everything that's painted gold isn't gold. You just have to be very, very wary. But I talk about that when people come over here, the newbies, and that, I tell them how they can save thousands and thousands of baht by just listening to a few little simple things. But some people say, no, that's not me. That's not me. I don't drink very much. They had 50,000 baht a month to live on, and the first month they spent 87, then the second month spent 67. And I asked them what they spent it on. Oh, I don't know. But alcohol and women had a lot to do with it. Okay, let's have a look and see what else has gone on here. I have a pension of £1,500 a month. Would that be enough to live on in Thailand? Thinking of renting a condo. I don't smoke and a very moderate drinker. Absolutely, 100%, £1,500 a month. £1,500 a month, that would qualify you also for, let's have a quick look at that, £1,500 a month. That will bring you into your 1,500. That will bring you into your 65,000. Yeah, 68. At today's rate, that's 68,000. So you could live here on the retirement visa, and that gives you your retirement income visa at 65,000 baht a month. So yeah, no problem. 65,000 baht a month. Smoking over here is very, very cheap. It's only about £2 for a packet of cigarettes. But you said you don't smoke anyway. Uh, yeah, I don't smoke and very moderate drinker. And drinks are not that expensive over here anyway. So you could have a nice condo. You get a nice condo in. Oh, I've been bitten by a mosquito, and now there's a fair few of them around. There's a little bit of blood coming from there. So yeah. So like I say, 6 o'clock on evening time, the mosquitoes are about, and today they're nibbling me. So yeah. Anyway, getting back to your condo, uh, between 10 and 15,000 baht for a decent condo. Um, and the electricity a couple of £1,000. So for less than 20,000 baht, you'd have a nice condo paid with the electricity and your internet, and that gives you 45,000 pounds, 45,000 baht to play around with, which is £1,000 a month. Easily done with that, no problem. So you'd have a good lifestyle on £1,500. That is for sure. But I asked the question, what would you get for £1,500 in England? You'd get a little 2-bedroom terrace house for 450 quid, and then the council tax another 120 quid. So £600 before you even start spending any money. So yeah, £1,500 a month, you'll have a fantastic life. Pattaya, entertainment city, you do anything and everything in Pattaya. But if you want the mountains, go up to Chiang Mai or Pai. Stunningly beautiful, and they have seasons. So in the wintertime, it's a lot cooler up there than it is down here. So yeah, don't worry, £1,500 is more than enough. Ian Phillips, enjoying the chat, Les. Keep the great content up. Thanks very much for watching, Ian. Thanks very much for the thumbs up. What are Norman? Oh, what okay. When you went back to the UK, you had no problem gaining access to the NHS, did you? Just give the NHS number, or did you tell them you had been living in Thailand? If they can treat illegal, why not us? Well, yeah. Within getting back to England, within 24 hours, I'd been admitted into hospital with a suspected heart attack. I had a pain in the chest and a bit of shortage of breath. 12:30 in the morning, and stupid, I'm just walking around thinking I'll walk it off. I couldn't think what caused it, but my sister gave me cream cakes and custard donuts, and so I thought maybe it's a bit of acid reflux, but the pain just wouldn't go away. So we called the ambulance, and the ambulance said we'll be there within 20 minutes. And it took four hours before the ambulance actually got to me. And so I got taken to hospital. Anyway, long story short, they couldn't find nothing wrong, and they just put it down to one of them things. But they did a full CT scan of my lung, because they thought it might have been a blood clot in my lungs as well. So they did a full CT scan of my heart and my lungs, and they said, oh, there's nothing wrong with your heart or your veins or your lungs, but we've found emphysema, or the early stages of emphysema. So in some ways that's good, because I've had the full CT scan, so there's nothing sort of wrong, majorly wrong with me valves. I don't need stents or anything like that. The disadvantage is that I've got emphysema, but it's only small, and they suggested to me to stop smoking. I said, well, I've never smoked. So anyway, they put it down to I got emphysema because I worked in the fire brigade with dealing with the smoke and things like that, blah, blah, blah. But am I suffering with it? Not really. You know, I'm a little bit of shortage of breath sometimes. But I put that down to being old and overweight. So I'm not really suffering from that. But yes, the NHS were phenomenal. Once I got into hospital and actually seeing the nurses and the doctors and things like that, they are overworked, very much overworked and underpaid. And I feel sorry for them, you know, what they have to deal with every single day. Crazy. You know, when everybody clapped and applauded them for during the COVID, to now the government calling them, you know, militants and asking for, you know, topping the wage rises when they've been cut to the bone for all of these bloody years. Disgusting. The doctors and nurses of the whole world should be paid an extraordinary amount of money for what they have to do. I always take my hat off to to the nurses and the doctors everywhere. Very clever people. But yeah, NHS treatment. They told me I had to come back for further lung tests and things like that, which I said I couldn't because I was leaving the country. And but yeah, no problem. But NHS treatment is free for emergencies. But if they had found out that I needed like ongoing treatment, like if I had cancer or some disease like that, then I might have came across a problem about the pay. But exactly for what your comments that you've just said there, and the naysayers and the haters who say I shouldn't be entitled to anything because I've left the country, but I also paid into the system for 40 years before I left the country, and I still pay into the system now because I still pay tax, but I get no benefits from the tax. So they want to say you can't have any treatment because you've left the country. I understand that, but I also still contribute to the country. So am I not entitled to anything when if the people arrived on a rubber boat, they get absolutely everything, and if they're ill, they get treatment, they get medication, and now apparently, which I heard today, if a lady comes across on the boat and is pregnant, she gets a bonus. So I will use the NHS system if I so desire, whether the people like it or whether they don't like it. Um, it's one of them things, in my mind, I paid into the system. So if I need to ask for the system to give me some help, because I've never, ever been in hospital for over 25 years. So I think I'm entitled to a little bit of NHS treatment if needed. But that's my own personal opinion. But I've got insurance here, medical insurance here. So if I need any help, I'll come here. If I get a life-threatening illness, terminal illness, that's my final resting place is the sofa or that hammock there. I will not go back to England um, for treatment that will make me live another 2 or 3 months. No. When your number's up, your number's up. Okay, that was a bit of a long answer for that one, wasn't it? Yeah. My one bed flat is 630 a month plus 140 council tax. The utility bills are top best at £900. Ooh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot. I say my electricity bill here is £15 a month. Our gas bill, because we have um, a gas cooker, just two ring burner, and that's maybe uh, £10 or £15 a year. Nothing, nothing. And because it's warm here all the time, I mean, like today now, here we are at 6:13. It's still 31.1 here, so it's still warm. And I'll go for being warm all the time to being cold because 9 weeks in England over the Christmas period, I was freezing cold every single day and I hated it. And out of the 9 weeks I was there, I think we maybe only had 1 week of it being sunny weather and blue skies. Yeah, give me warmth all the time. Okay. He passed away, but his son is massive. He seems okay, but he will trouble looks like his father. My wife loves dogs and breeds them. Got 9 at the moment. Yeah, I mean dogs. I'd love a dog. I've always liked dogs, and I always said when I retire I'm going to get a dog. But dogs are so tiring, and I like my holidays. And if we had a dog, then we'd have to pay somebody to look after the dog. And I used to do that. I looked after people's animals. I looked after somebody's cat in Orvieto, Italy, for 3.5 months, and that was one of my jobs that I did was pet sitting. And we spent 3 months in Orvieto looking after somebody's cat in a beautiful house. And I'm thinking, wow, all we have to do is look after the cat, feed the cat every day. Opportunities that come along in life. And that's what I'm saying. I've got a head full of memories. Fantastic, fantastic lifestyle that I've had. So if my number's up tomorrow and I go tomorrow, I'm happy with my lot. Can't complain. Let's have a look. I think you are still paying national insurance on your private pension income, so should be entitled to the NHS. I don't know. I don't think so. No, because it's a pension. I don't think I have to pay national insurance. If I had uh, self-employed business, then I'd have to pay national insurance contributions, yes. But I don't believe that I'm paying any of that on my pension. I could be wrong, but I'm almost 95% sure that I'm not. How's your area for rain, Les? Past 2 years got flooding where I am, but this year's not so much at all. Can see a water shortage coming if nothing changes. Now, our house where we live is called Lakeview, and just over there's a big lake, and just over there's 3 or 4 big lakes. And last year in this area is the worst flooding we've had for 30 years. And where we live, nothing as far as flooding is concerned. Our village wasn't flooded, even though we've got maybe 4 or 5 big lakes. No flooding happened here, a lot of rain. And at the moment, we're in rainy season now. And I mean, blue skies, beautiful. It's not rained for maybe a week here at the minute, but it will come towards the end of July. We will get a lot of heavy downpours. But last year, I think in Thailand, the worst rains in Thailand, flooding for 30 years. But this year, it's been very, very, pardon me, very few and far between as far as rain's concerned. So, I mean, the other day when I did my pre-video about this talk, I showed the thunder clouds, and it rumbled and thundered a little bit. No rain. So over here, it's okay. I can't complain. In the centre of Rayong last year, we were directed into the centre of Rayong, and the water was halfway up the bonnet of the car, and I think, oh, goodness me. But thankfully, we got away with this. But the police directed us down the street where we had to go through this flood that was like half the height of the car. I wasn't very happy with the policeman directing us into that type of thing, but we got away with it, thankfully. Normally, you don't pay national insurance and pension. Yep, again, I just pay tax on my pension. That was it. No national insurance contributions. You definitely don't pay national insurance when you reach state pension age, but before that, I thought it was a still taken. If you're not, no, state pension I'll be paying because I already pay tax on me 5-year pension. I'll be taxed 20% on my state pension. So, although I think the state pension for me is about £800 at the minute, I'll be taxed 20% on that. But that's what it is, isn't it? There's no way. Death and taxes, the only 2 things you can't escape from. Death and taxes. And I'm going to end up doing both of them. Super Raiders, thanks for today, Les. Time for me to get on with my day. Have a good day. Well, thanks very much. Almost 3 hours, 22 minutes since we started. So thanks very much for being a part of this. Much appreciated, and always leaving messages and comments on my videos. Fantastic. Thanks very much for today. Hope you got something out of it, enjoyed it. Pass it on to other people. I'm a mind of information, so I'll put my email address on there for those people who want to ask private questions or something like that. No problem. If I can answer, I will. So thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. Just Google it. I'm wrong. Okay. By keeping a UK address and bank account, would that mean you get the state pension increase? Like I said earlier on, I don't know whether you heard that comment earlier on. You can have a UK address. You can even own the house that you live in UK. But if you don't reside in the UK for 185 days of any financial year, that's April the 6th to April the 6th, you have to live in England for 185 days to get the legal pension rise. And that's 100% fact, because I asked many questions. I had a list of questions. I asked this guy, and they passed me to the people who could give me the answers. And also, you can actually get your pension rise if you lived in the. So you could live 3 months in England, and then 3 months in Turkey or the Philippines, and still qualify to get your pension rise because it's living in a reciprocal country. But then I've had another person who rang up the same pension office that I rang up in Newcastle, because it's foreseeable pensions or something like it's not the pensions department of work and pensions, future pensions, that's it, future pensions. And I have done a video and I put the number on. He called them and they said no, the information that they gave me was wrong. So even the people who were telling me this information, according to this other guy, even got that wrong. And when I tried to ring him back, there was some problem and I couldn't get in touch with the number. But I haven't pursued that because at the end of the day, that's just one guy out of the hundreds of people that have contacted me to say, you know, how can they get the pension? And it's by having 185 days in any reciprocal country, according to the future pensions department. But that one guy said no, he said they've made a mistake and got it wrong. So I'll still need to check that 100%. So the information that I give is 100% correct. But for some reason I couldn't get through to them on the phone, and I'll do that, and I'll do that on another video, because that was my plan to get my. If it's only 2 or 3%, it's not worth doing for a couple of years or so until it builds up to about 10%. And then a 10% rise on your pension, 10% rise on 800 is 80 quid a month. So who would turn down £80 a month? When my idea is, for me, because I'm living in Thailand, is go and live in the Philippines for 6 months, 185 days, tell the pensions department that I'm living in a reciprocal country, and from the day I move over to the Philippines, they will give me that £80 a month pension rise, which offsets the part of your holiday by £80 a month. And after the end of 185 days, you tell them, okay, I'm moving back to Thailand, and you will get that same rise for the rest of the time. And then once you move back into Thailand, it will be frozen at that new rate. That's what I'm led to believe, and that's what the people said. So the persons to give them a call is the Future Pensions in Newcastle, if you want to know 100%, and they'll tell you. But literally, I've had hundreds of people that are going to do that ID, living either Turkey and England for 3 months or the Philippines for 6 months or so they get the pension rise. And like I said, at the minute now, we've got 10%. So those people who've got the frozen pension, that's 10% that they've lost. And in the last couple of years, it's 2 or 3%. So all up to now, that's 13 or 14% rise that they could get. And next year, because the inflation isn't coming down in England, it may be another 6%. So that is after next year's rise in April. That might be worthwhile doing it because it's going to be in the regions of 20%. So 20% of £800, you know, 160 quid a month. Now you can't tell me that nobody would wish to get another £160 a month. And by moving to the Philippines for 6 months, the government is sort of paying your holiday, or paying, you know, a big part of your holiday. It's just thinking out the box, thinking of ways to do, and it's what I will do if my pension rises 10 or 15% or something like that over a number of years. I will do that, because why should it's a 70-year rule. It's a 70-year rule that the government, there's over 500,000 people who have their pensions frozen because of this 70-year-old rule. And there's still people that keep bringing it up to the members of parliament, but they say, yeah, okay, we're too busy. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. 500,000 people with their pensions reduced or frozen. And there's one guy living in Canada. I think he's only 200 yards from the border. And if he lived over the border, he'd get his pension rise every year. And for like 15 years, he's never had a pension rise because he lives 200 meters on the wrong side of the border. Criminal, isn't it? You paid into the system all your life, but they will try their hardest not to give you it back. Anyway, that's just my little soapbox. You don't pay national insurance and company pension, but still have to pay it. Yeah, I still have to pay tax, 20%, because anything over 12,500 or 12,600, you have to pay 20% tax. Now, there's other things I could do. My tax bill is about £120 a month or something like that. Now, an accountant said to me, if I set up a small company, you know, little business or something like a shell company, I'd still have to pay national insurance contributions. So that's still a bit of a tax, but I could sort of avoid paying £120. So in the long and the short of it, I could probably save about £100 a month. Is it worth setting up a company, doing the accounts every year, which is going to cost maybe £200 or £300 to do the accounts just to save £100 a year? No, it is what it is. But if it was hundreds of pounds a year, then yeah, I'd set up a company to stop paying tax. And that might be something worth looking at when I get into the £800 a month. So 2 8 to 1660, yeah, about 280 or £300 a month. Now it might be worth doing it for paying tax at 280 £300 a month. I'll look at it when I get to 66, and I'll see what I can do. There's always ways. Yeah, Les, 6 months in the Philippines or 6 months in the summer, it doesn't sound too bad for a 10% rise. Yeah, yeah. The Philippines, for a rise of 10%, it's well worth it, isn't it? That's my way of thinking anyway. Even when you take into the hotel costs, the visa costs, you're on holiday for 6 months, and the government are giving you money to have on your holiday, because if you didn't have the holiday there, you wouldn't be able to claim the extra pension anyway. Swings and roundabouts. Yeah, I mean, this was, yeah. I think the time you pay for your flights and accommodation, with the pension increase normally being low, would take a while to recoup. 2 years, I worked it out. 2 years to recoup the average for the pay rise, taking your flights. I mean, a flight to the Philippines for me is 100 quid or 120 quid. That's not too much to ask for, is it? Accommodation, you can get accommodation for less than I'm paying here. So you're on holiday, it's a cheap flight, and you're over there for 6 months. You don't have to stay in the expensive place. You can go island hopping, living in a villa, living in the shack for 6 months. To get that amount of money back, if you keep your costs down for 6 months, you're eating and drinking anyway, so you pay for eating and drinking over here. And you're on holiday. And I think it's a little bit, the government are going to fund it for you. Because if you didn't go on holiday, you ain't going to get it anyway. So if you only got another £80 a month, that's £80 a month that they're paying for your holiday for 6 months. So 8, 16, 24, £420, that they're going to take off any holiday that you're going to have for the 6 months. So anyway, we all look upon it differently, but if it gets up to 20%, 160 quid a month, do you not think it's worth doing? I do. I think it'd be well worth doing. Right. Yeah. So everything, there's a there's a cost to everything, no matter what you do. Nobody's going to give you the cash for free, and they'll take it off you. And do we whinge and moan about that? Yes, we do. But they've got their hands on your cash, and if they don't pay you it, then they're winning, aren't they? So, but I always think out of the box for what you can do, how you can do it, for as long as you can do it. And I've got to say, living here in Thailand, it's much cheaper than what I could ever do in the UK or anywhere I've been, because I've been around the world, and I've lived in many beautiful countries, but every other country apart from the Southeast Asia countries are more and more expensive than here. And for the quality of life, for the stress-free life, for the very little in crime, and your pound goes a lot further, Thailand wins, that's for sure. So we broke the 3 hour. We're on to 3.5 hours now. So because now I'm getting little mosquitoes flying around me now. So before I go, has anybody got any other questions before I sign off? Because if they've got any more questions, I'll stay here as long as people have got questions. But I've talked for like 3.5 hours now, so I hope I've answered a lot of people's questions. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel, that knocks me numbers up. My next barrier is 10,000 subscribers, which is good. I mean, 8,200 today, or 8,198 before I came online. So hopefully everything is going to go up. So, did you get the form from your bank account about tax? They keep sending me one saying about what country where I pay tax. No, because I already pay tax on my income in the UK. So within Thailand, you don't get taxed twice. You only get taxed once from your own country. If you sent your money, I believe, if you sent your money direct from like my pension provider to Thailand, you may get taxed in Thailand. But I think that the people will tax you in England before it gets to Thailand. But there's no double taxing, that's for sure. So I'd ask about that. I'd ask about double taxing and things like that. But as far as I'm aware, it doesn't happen like that. But I could be wrong. I'm not 100% right on everything, but I like to think that the information that I give is accurate and right at the time of giving it. Otherwise, I wouldn't give it. So, okay, there we go. No more questions. Thanks very much. Thanks, Les. Good info. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been another long one, which I don't mind doing. I've got blood on me. Yeah. Maybe it's a little mosquito. It's just had a nibble on my chin. Okay, I'm going to go. Swally Cap, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I hope it's been informative. I hope you've got something from it. Thank you very much for watching and supporting, and for the couple of people that have made a donation towards the channel. It all helps at the end of the day. And thank you very much for watching. So bye for now. See you in another live stream, maybe in a couple of weeks or next month. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.